Joshi. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for always being there with us. And we are so pleased that for you, geography is there. And for you, have always recognized that geography matters. I'm so grateful, sir, for you in your busy schedule for taking out this time. And geography is something, that subject which I always said, it's always in few colleges. And today, in case if we are having this together, it's something I think so. I'll give a lot of credit to you, Professor P.C. Joshi. And also, I wish to thank our own principal, of course, Professor Vibha Singh Chauhan, my first lady principal of Kirodimal College. Gender, of course, matters. And she has definitely changed and brought research dimension. But for today, I wish to thank Principal of Ramanujan College, Professor Agarwal. Sir, thank you very much for deciding, for thinking of having a refresher course for geography. Initially, we thought, let's have FDP for 5 days. You said, no, 15 days. I was just thinking, how will it happen? But looking at the mega success, courtesy Nidhi, of having 200 plus geographers, teachers who are attending this course, thank you, dear participants. I am blessed because I definitely want geography to be just there. And for all of you, it's not a day for me to give lecture. And we have, this course is basically, when I thought of planning this course, I could not miss Professor R.B. Singh, my favorite teacher. He was the one, in case if all of you, the ones, dear participants, you all are there, even my two principals, and even, of course, Professor P.C. Joshi, we all are basically heart to heart, we all are teachers. But Professor R.B. Singh was actually a true teacher. And today we all are going to get a glimpse of it. And dear geographers, just follow Professor R.B. Singh and you will reach to your desire. Why I'm saying that? I'm saying that because Professor R.B. Singh is the one great teacher. I mean, he has become the IGU at the top. How did he become? He was a man, he was a young boy from a small village. You know, when in my first batch of MA, he was my teacher. So I recognize him from that days. And those days, and then where is he? In geography, we all talk about microspace, macro space, great macro and global spaces. Professor R.B. Singh had captured each and every space. He's the one who has actually demonstrated that geography, geographers, and geospatial technologies matter today. And you all can, through that, bring changes to physical spaces, social spaces, gendered spaces, and in turn, make a difference in this era where we all are saying that this is a decade of implementation of sustainable development goals. In pandemic time, none of you have missed maps. So this course is driving you towards it. This course is telling you that please, geographers, wake up. There's a wake-up call. Please use maps. Everybody else is making use of that. Change your curriculum. Of course, and plus the lecture, which I'm going to give a long lecture in the days to come. That lecture is going to be giving you that mantra of empowering geographers, geospatial communities using geography ecosystem in higher education portals also. My secret is going to be, which I'm going to, of course, elaborate in my 90 minutes lecture in the days to come, is going to be with an acronym secret, where S stands for space. Dear geographers, please do not miss space. And here is Professor Rana P.B. Singh, who's here. I'm so grateful. In this session, he's not here as an eminent geographer. He is here as a brother of Professor R.B. Singh. Thank you very much, Professor P.B. Singh, for being here. He has expanded the space. Today, you have people coming in this refresher course. We have 7 of them coming from international community. We are having emeritus professors. And I want to thank Professor Rana P.B. Singh for that. And other people, the ones, we have people from Turkey, we have people from Japan, we have people from Japan, we have people from Germany. I mean, those places which I never thought even a refresher course we could have it. We have people from national community. E is exploring new spaces. E is empowering new spaces. C is changing your curriculum, darling. Please play with your curriculum. And that's something which I want to tell all of you. Curriculum has to be current. Are we having that? And curriculum cannot be without foundation. Where is the chain tape survey? Your GIS technology, your geospatial technology is never saying leave foundation. We are still not even moving from A. My cartography is the one that should be the foundation of GIS. But is that the foundation of GIS? All my young participants, remember, curriculum has to be current, but at the same time, not missing the foundations. You all have to remember and hold that. R is relationships. R is responsibilities. That's something which we all have to build. And when I say relationship with your teachers, relationship with your society, relationship with all the spaces around. And that's something which is so very important. You all have to do it. E, of course, and for that, I want to be thankful to Professor Vibha Singh Chauhan. She remembered that, like, you know, the plagiarism and all that, and she has made a committee for that. Academic integrity panel we have in our college. Of course, we are also having shades of up and downs, whether the plagiarism, this much plagiarism or not. But my question to each one of you, my young participant, are you ready? Have you ever used Turnitin? Have you ever used those plagiarism software? Are we ready, or we are still getting into that bandwagon of saying that no, it doesn't matter, nobody's going to catch it. Darling, we are going to be in the days to come to be part of that mega world. So, and T, of course, is transformation. This whole course, next 15 days, are to transform each one of you. And I hope we all get transformed. We'll come out with a book. You all have targets, which I know the organizers are not going to allow you without submission. But remember, you all have to submit. The participants, I'm giving you a task right in the first 5 minutes. You all have to submit a report of this inauguration session in 500 to 1,000 words. And that's something which is important. You all have to tell in that whether you belong to which zone of India in those 6 zones, your geographers. And which university are you representing? So welcome, my guests. And we all dedicate this whole refresher course to my favorite teacher, researcher, relationship manager, administrator in his own way, and a humble person. He did so much in his short life. He was just so young. And he, you know, like we don't have in us, but he is having so much to his credit, which of course all my guests are going to speak, that I bow my head to you, sir. And I think so we all need to remember him always. Just follow his pedagogies. Just love your students, hold their hands, and they will always be there with you. Thank you very much, Professor Agarwal and Professor Vibha Singh Chauhan, for thinking of having a refresher course of that discipline to which both of you don't belong. Geography for me is still one of that which is still has got that missing character. Missing gender, I always say, but missing geography is also there in that top domain. Thank you all. And now, of course, I wish to welcome, who am I to welcome? It's Professor Agarwal's show today. I request Professor Agarwal with the humbleness. So please welcome all the eminent guests and the participants. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Seema-ji. You have said everything. Nothing is left to be, said by me, but that's all right. Good morning and welcome to all our dignitaries and the worthy participants. You know, basically Seema-ji has said that all of us are geographers. So I include myself and Vibha-ji and everyone to be geographer expert today, because it's the it's a era of interdisciplinarity, and I believe in it. So you can understand that where I'm referring to the new education policy 2020. So besides that, our chief guest today, none other than Professor Rana PB Singh. I'm so fascinated and glad that your students are remembering you so much. I'm sure you are a pillar of geography in the country. Sir, welcome to this program of 2-week, jointly organized by Ramanujan College and Krodimal College. Our chief guest today,
डिपार्टमेंट गलत लाइट सन
प्लीज आप लोग म्यूट रखें आवाज आ रही है. Our chief guest today, Professor PC Joshi, Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Delhi, and a very eminent scientist, anthropologist, and an administrator, because we can see that how in last 1 year the university have seen a kind of transformation. So sir, thank you very much for giving us time for today for this program. Guest of honor, Wing Commander Satyam Khushwaji, who is from Indian Space Association. I think the Seemaji has already talked about the space, so I'm glad that you have included someone from space area. Then daughter of Professor Singh, Dr. Anju Singh, then student of Professor Singh, B.W. Pandey, Dr. Arun Tripathi, and my colleague and principal of Krodimal College, Professor Vibhashing Chauhan. Once again, welcome on behalf of Teaching Learning Center, Ramanujan College, University of Delhi, in this 2-week online refresher course on geography, geographers, and geospatial technologies impacting physical, social, and generated spaces 2021. Friends, as Seema said, that we are not geographers. I belong to commerce and management area. But let me tell you that today's world is different. We need to collaborate. We need to learn from each other. I can say that we have organized programs in the area of chemistry, natural sciences, youth and climate, and today in geography. So we are open to each and every area in this country, in this world. So that is our objective under this center, Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission. It is a mission for each one of us for teaching and learning. So as regards my own institution, well, we are a Delhi University maintained and a very small in terms of if we compare it with Krodimal College or any other college of University of Delhi. We have 120 faculty members, about 3,000 students, and 10 centers of excellence in this college, and we have our own private cloud and EDX portal through which we organize these training programs. And we are also part of DDU Kaushal Kendra. We are offering about 16 honors courses, 2 BVOC courses, and our emphasis is in the area of mathematical sciences, commerce, management, social science, and language. We are not a pure science college. So that is a small background. And under this mission of training, we have not left any area untouched. And we have already touched 150,000 teachers from all over the country in terms of training, teaching, learning, research, ICT tools, discipline-based programs. So each and every area we have touched, and I'm sure that capacity building has been done at its best through these programs. And most of our teaching community is not only joining these programs for their promotion or other things, but also for learning new areas, learning new technologies, learning new subjects. So that is also very fascinating for all of us. As Shrimaji said that, today we have about 200 geographers. Well, we really don't know. Maybe a lot of people, maybe from other disciplines, who are interested in geography and who are interested in interdisciplinarity. Friends, I always request through these programs that all of us, it is our pious duty that we must read the new education policy 2020 and see its main features, because that is important. Whatever we can do to implement this policy, this is a wonderful policy. Of course, there are a lot of things need to be done, but as a teacher, if we can do, we must start. Let me give you an example that in this college we started doing Google Classrooms much before the COVID. We were never knowing that this thing will happen, and we started teaching Google Classroom to our teachers and students. So these are some of the things which we like using the MOOCs. MOOCs is in place for last 20 years, but we never used these. When pandemic came, we started using it. So these are the things which we need to ponder upon. Today we need to think beyond today's time. Like Seema ji said, we have to we have to include the recent in our syllabuses, in our curriculum. So that is also very important. The main features of new education policy, of course, I do not have time to discuss elaborate that, but interdisciplinarity and flexibility is the key. And these are all student-centric approaches. And another important thing is the creativity, the critical thinking, the collaboration, and the communication. So today, whatever we are doing, we are collaborating. We are collaborating with Kurodimal College, because I do not have expertise in geography, and and we are organizing such a wonderful program with the collaboration. So you can see the power of collaboration. Similarly, creativity and critical thinking. Now, how it will come? Unless until we learn from each other, unless until we learn from interdisciplinarity, we learn from each other's area of expertise, these things cannot come. And we have to take it to the classrooms. That is important. So this is my humble submission, that all of us must have top class communication, top class critical thinking, top class creativity. So that is very, very important. Then another important part of the new education policy is the holistic education, the sustainable development, sustainable environment, and the culture of research, like Seema ji said, in colleges. So these are some of the important parameters which we need to look at. And as regards geography, of course, I am not an expert of geography, but let me tell you, when I was a student of commerce in 1975, let me tell you, we used to study a paper called World Resources and Trade, and basically that was geography. So I'm really fascinated that geography is a subject which can be connected to any subject. So as Seema ji said, GPS, GIS, our navigation technology. See, we are the ancient wisdom. We have knowledge of navigation started from very beginning, through which we became Vishwa Guru. So today, if we can recall that, and now we have combined it with technology through artificial intelligence and machine learning. So our knowledge can be useful in this modern times, when the technology is combined with the ancient knowledge system. So these are very important things which we need to learn. And as I said, that we are always open to collaborations in different areas, and we welcome from any institution in the country, any institution from Delhi University, if we can do something meaningful after these kind of collaborations. So once again, I welcome all our dignitaries and the participants who will be spending 2 weeks with us in this program, and I'm sure each one of you will learn something new which you can take to your own classrooms and institutions. Thank you very much. Over to Seema.
Thank you very much, sir. And I like to share with you, we are having a lecture on artificial intelligence, big data, spatial data. Rahul has agreed. I forced him. I said, please, today my students and my faculty members will want to use big data. Geography is also near to that big data. All right, now may I request Professor Vibha Singh Chauhan, our principal, to welcome everybody. Ma'am.
Thank you very much, Professor Seema. It's my privilege. I'm extremely proud and happy to come here on behalf of Kurodimal College. And I have many, many people to thank. My first thanks, of course, are due to the chief guest, respected Professor P.C. Joshi, the Pro Vice Chancellor of University of Delhi, who is a constant inspiration for us. He's approachable, he's there to listen to us, to advise us, and to guide us. Thank you very much, sir, for doing all that and agreeing to be the chief guest of this program. The first time I met, I mean, it's a good moment when I should just let the people know here. The first time I met Professor Joshi was actually to mention to him about the potential of geography department in our college. He may remember it. And I did mention that the need for serious research programs for students and teachers. And he, of course, did point to me about what the university had already made available in terms of collaborating with colleges, other colleges, the university, and other inter-university programs. And it is very fortunate that we are collaborating today with one of the major colleges now in Delhi University. Thanks to guest of honor, Kushwaji, who's connected with space, as I was just told by Professor Agarwal.
Ma'am, you are mute. Ma'am, you are mute. Please unmute yourself.
I am so sorry about this. And once again, I start by thanking everybody who is here and everybody who is involved in this collaboration, which is bound to be an enriching one. My first thanks are due to our chief guest and our very, very respected Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor P.C. Joshi, who has been a constant inspiration and support and approachable, and we contact him for his guidance and direction quite often. The first time I did meet him was in connection with my hope and program about the potential of research in geography department at Karodimal College. There were two areas I had mentioned, and geography was one of them. And so geography has been actually a pride department for us. And I'm extremely happy that this course is being organized and that we have a person like Professor P.C. Joshi as the chief guest here. The guest of honor, Kushwaji, thank you very much. I just heard you're from the space organization. Very, very warm welcome. The keynote speaker, Professor P.D. Singh, who is going to speak on, who's going to address, I suppose, mainly the topic, geography, geographers, and geospatial technologies impacting physical, social, and gendered spaces. Already much has been said about the interdisciplinary nature of geography that is becoming evident to all of us, even those who don't belong to the discipline. And I think this is a very, very good symbol of that interdisciplinary approach. Warm thanks to Professor Agarwal, the principal of Ramanujan College, under whose leadership the college has reached heights which we can actually admire. And I often call him, I talk to him, and I have visited Ramanujan College whenever I feel I need somebody to help me resolve a difficult situation. So I do trouble him quite a lot, and I'm grateful to him for his advice and his guidance in many, many matters. Ramanujan College is a college I think all of us need to visit at least once to see the facilities that have been created, their recording room, the team, the way it works, the TLC, and its role in teacher training program is something I think which is going to be etched in the history of University of Delhi. I read somewhere that more than 150,000 teachers have been trained and in various different kinds of programs. The team, the principal and the team, they are so quick on the uptake of using the technology which is appropriate to the moment. We have a lot to learn from you and your team, Professor Agarwal, and I'm extremely happy that we are finally collaborating on such a very, very multifaceted kind of area. Thank you, Professor Parihar. You are from the Kururimal College, yet it takes a lot of time and energy to organize anything like this. You're, as coordinator of the program, you must have spent immense amount of time on this. And it's finally happening, and I'm sure it is going to be something which is going to enrich teachers in many different ways. A warm welcome to all resource persons, all participants, and anybody else who is connected with this program in any manner. Once again, on behalf of Kururimal College, thank you, all of you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And without you, I could not have had this program. You had made the atmosphere of Kirorimal College academic to more academic and collaborative. Thank you very much. And I'm always pleased. And yes, frankly speaking, the time I've not spent much, it's just built on relationships. Relationships over the years, and they were all just called and they all agreed to it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, both the principals, for thinking of my geography, which is so dear to my heart and dear to the heart of all participants. And of course, dear to that man, Professor R.B. Singh. You know, remembering him, we are having this program. And now may I invite the favorite of the favorite administrator that we've ever had in University of Delhi, Professor P.C. Joshi. So, you know, I mean, maybe we have not physically interacted much, but yes, few places we have shared the ecosystem too. But frankly, as an administrator, I may not, but you're always there, sir. That charisma of yours, you know, brought new energy in the field among geographers. You are just closer to our discipline. I mean, of course, a great administrator who believed in bringing a change. Mahatma Gandhi said, if you want to be a change, bring a change, be a change yourself. Professor P.C. Joshi represents that. He believed in every teacher, sir. And in last few days, the way the promotions have happened, the way the things have happened, the way this API and all those, the new things have come. Sir, what you have done, you know, I always think of watershed in terms of river basin. I always think of water divide in terms of that. But you are one administrator who has truly been a watershed, which have respected the catchment of higher education and my faculty members, teachers across disciplines in Delhi University. Thank you very much. And sir, you being a researcher, you being talking about man and nature through your discipline, of course, I value your research, sir, and I value everything about you. I value your humility. Dear participants, one request to each one of you. If you are here, of course, we are learning the true subject called geography, but we are also learning how these eminent people are behaving. You all have to capture this post. Look at the humbleness of Professor P.C. Joshi. Can you just take that? Look at the humbleness of everybody, the one who is participating. That's another thing which you all have to imbibe in this refresher course. And we are going to have questions on that too. Okay, Professor P.T. Joshi, sir, we want to listen to you and have your blessings. Sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Seema Mehra Parihar. Like Professor Vibha Singh Chauhan ji has said, I'm not new to Geography Department of Grodemal College. I've been participating in your programs earlier as well, much before I became the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University. So your department has a very special place for me. But first of all, let me congratulate both Professor Vibha Singh Chauhan and Professor S.P. Agarwal. They have truly, come together. You're talking of relationship. This is what I was interested in, having relationship between departments and colleges, between colleges and colleges, between Delhi University colleges and outside colleges, between Indian colleges and colleges abroad. That is the kind of relationship. That is the kind of higher education that I aspire, that is I visualize. And I think today is a very special day when these two colleges, great colleges, are coming together for the benefit of the geographer at large. Now, today, I think is a very special day, and I have heavy heart to remember one of my great friends, Professor R.B. Singh. R.B. Singh, well, I had a very long association with R.B. Singh. And if there was any department beyond anthropology department that I was very, very keenly associated with, it was geography department. And any program that Professor R.B. Singh would be organizing, he would make it a point to invite me. And I would always attend these programs. We have both had a lot of concerns about especially environmental issues. And jointly, we had done a lot of work in the area of environment and climate change. So it's a great day to remember the great geographer who was not only a great scientist, a great scholar, but I think above all, was a great human being. And he was a true mentor to his students and mentor to people beyond his discipline. So this is, like the scholarship has no boundaries. So he had gone beyond the subject boundaries, and he was somebody who surpassed. And when I decided to have a Center for Himalayan Studies, I could think of no one else but Professor R.B. Singh to make the blueprint and the proposal. And within a month, he created such a great proposal that we wholeheartedly and completely adopted in the university. So I think in establishment of Center for Himalayan Studies in Delhi University, he has also played a very, very important role, and Delhi University would be ever grateful to him. I would like to, of course, welcome Professor Rana P.B. Singh, whom I met courtesy Professor R.B. Singh, and I think he's going to give a keynote address today. So I welcome you, sir. Then Kushwaha ji is there. I welcome him, and Sanjay Sahai. And of course, we have got Anju Singh, we have got B.W. Pandey, Arun Tripathi, and all other people that are there. And I think all of you would be talking about geography and the relevance of geography, and especially you're talking about physical, social, and gendered spaces. Now, I think geography is a very, very important subject today. It is because, there was somewhere in the myths that we read, at least Hindu mythology, that Pralaya is going to come and the world is, the Kali is going to end. I think we are nearing, it's very scary, but we are nearing that. We are very near to it, because we have already, we are going to face energy crisis, serious energy crisis in another 30, 40 days, because these fossil fuel are going to go away. And we have not yet prepared ourselves with alternative kind of fuel, no matter how much research we have been doing on solar or, waves and wind and all those things. But the kind of energy needs, unsatiable energy needs that this world requires, I don't think after the fossil fuel gone, we will be having a very, very serious crisis. Water, such a important thing that we have. We have we are doing away with water, and water crisis is going to come in a very, very big way, especially the potable water, the fresh water, and atmosphere. All these things are available, so I think geography is going to come as a savior science, geographical insight, geographical knowledge. Now, since Seemaji is from gender studies, I would like to remember Henry Ortner. And Henry Ortner has made a very famous statement. Is female to male as nature to culture. I would like to actually stand it. And this is something very, very important. Is female to male as nature to culture. And what has happened? It is the male chauvinism. It is the arrogance of science. I'm going to now, blame science also. It's the arrogance of science, which has resulted into Anthropocene. Anthropocene is not come out of nowhere. It is the science, it is the arrogance in science, that human being started, male, they started thinking that we can conquer nature. We can, like the male dominate the female, the men or the science, which is again a kind of a, male shamanism of science, thought that we can conquer the nature. And what they have done, they have destroyed all the forests, they have destroyed all the water bodies, they have destroyed all the air and everything. And now we have reached a stage where we really are scared. We are scared whether we are going to be surviving for tomorrow or not. And this scare is not, it is not a imaginary scare. There are many people who think that this is all imaginary. Not imaginary. Geographer will tell you, this is very, very eminent. The seawater level is going to rise. It is rising. And in India also we can see, I'm not talking of those small island nations. In India also, if you go to Bay of Bengal, many islands are getting vanished. Day by day, we are losing them. In Bangladesh, we are losing those islands. In many other places. So it is eminent. It is a reality. So I would like to add to Henry Ortner's statement. Famous statement, is female to male as nature to culture. I'd love to add to it, is female to male as nature to culture, as social science to science. Gone are the days when hard science would give you answers. The time has come for little bit of feminism in science as well. Little bit of humility in science. So the arrogance of science has to be replaced by humility of science. And humility of science, in medical science, you always say, prevention is better than cure. आप अपना व्यवहार अच्छा कीजिए, आप अपना खान पान अच्छा कीजिए, आप अपनी आदतों को अच्छी बनाइए, तो आप बीमार नहीं होंगे. और ये इंडियन विजडम है. इसीलिए आयुर्वेद क्या है? आयुर्वेदा इज नॉट ए साइंस ऑफ डिजीज. आयुर्वेदा इज साइंस ऑफ लाइफ. ये बहुत डिफरेंस है बिटवीन द मेडिकल साइंस, द क्लिनिकल साइंस एंड द आयुर्वेदा. आयुर्वेदा इज अ पॉजिटिव साइंस. इट्स अ साइंस ऑफ लाइफ. इट्स नॉट ए साइंस ऑफ डिजीज. When we say science of life, Ayurveda says, अपना आचार, व्यवहार, खान पान, रहन सहन सुधारो ताकि आने वाली बीमारियों से अपने आप को बचा सको. Similarly, now science can find answer to, अब आपके पास वाटर प्यूरिफायर, आपने एयर प्यूरिफायर घरों में लगाना शुरू कर दिया. कितने बनाओगे एयर प्यूरिफायर? वाटर प्यूरिफायर, कितने वाटर प्यूरिफायर कहां तक करोगे? There is no end to it. And this is the kind of cycle of, I would say, materialism. ये भौतिकवाद की पराकाष्ठा है. कहां तक जाएगा ये? पूंजीवाद की पराकाष्ठा कहां तक ले जाएंगे? कितना हमारी एक छोटी छोटी नीड से दूसरी नीड बन रही है, दूसरी से तीसरी नीड बन रही है, और हम क्या कर रहे हैं? इन द प्रोसेस व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, वी आर डिस्ट्रॉइंग द नेचर, वी आर डिस्ट्रॉइंग द प्लैनेट in order to fulfill our needs. So therefore the time has come for soft science. The time has come for the social science. The time has come for changing and mending our behavior. And therefore, what Seemaji talked about, sustainable life. There are alternatives available to these unsustainable means, we have to change to those. And for that, we have to have a change in our attitude, change in our values. We were thinking we are the kings of the world, हम पूरी दुनिया को फतेह कर देंगे और सारे हम जो चाहेंगे वो हमें प्राप्त कर लेंगे. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. We are actually trying to destroy ourselves. So geography, I would say again, geography is a savior science. Geography, sociology, they are going to show us the way, pathways of how we should be. If we have to survive, if Earth has to survive, and if you look into the history of Earth or the prehistory of Earth, we have seen this Earth has seen a lot. There was a time when in the Jurassic era, dinosaurs were ruling this Earth. Where are they? So human being is also, is standing at the verge of extinction. And this is very real. So therefore, there is a need to be soft. There is a need to be feminist. There is a need to be, to have that humility that will save us. So I'm very glad that Untitled College and Ramanujam College are coming together, are going to talk about physical space, social space, and much more than that, the gendered spaces. And I think they're going to talk about the new advancements that are happening in the field of geography. And of course, we have people like Professor Rana P.B. Singh, mature people, great scientists, great scholars. They definitely are going to give insight about all these burning issues. So if world has to be saved, if Earth has to survive, geography is very going to play a very important role. And I'm glad. So I'm for geography, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your
sir. And you said it so
valuable,
nicely. Sir, you said it so nicely, and I loved your impression and your definition of soft science and giving feminism perspective of it. And that's something which is so very required. We basically require gender parity across spaces. And of course, you rightly said that, again, Mahatma Gandhi comes in my mind when it came to change, that we have enough for man's need, but we do not have enough for man's greed. Greed is something which we all need to just, let it go away. And I always my co-investigator, Dr. Tapti Banerjee is here, only director of NATMO. And I always say that, we all have to get together and do so many new things. And we all need extra hands. We all need extra hands of all these participants to make way to different things. And now, thank you very much, sir. And we promise you, we assure you that these things can happen, but we need softer people like you, sir. I don't know. I mean, I'll say you look at all spaces beyond binaries. We actually want that. I want this change in the curriculum, sir. We need to work towards that also. We need to make an interdisciplinary curriculum. We do not have any interdisciplinary department, or we have it. Knock, knock. Let me now, in case if Wing Commander Kushwaji, are you there? You were there till a few minutes back.
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. And you're welcome, my guest of honor, Wing Commander Kushwaji. Why I'm saying Satyam, why I say I'm so proud of him, I was talking to him and he said, we used to sleep on maps. So when he said he used to sleep on maps, my question is, are geographers even using maps? Many times you get PhDs to correct without maps. And we talk of locations, we talk of so many things. All days in COVID days, we all were seeing maps. Today, even pure sciences are using maps. But are we ready for it? My geospatial maps are being prepared without lat-long knowledge. And you have things where people have no clue about georeferencing and they're making software for it. Are we near to projections? We all have got them. If I say anybody right now, the one who is present here, think of world map, you all will think of marketer's projection. But have you ever questioned why my India is not looking seventh largest there? There is something there. Why my India is not looking seventh largest there? Because all these projections, am I detailing them in my geography curriculum? Or are we thinking that no, today software will do anything? Software will only do those things. And our principal of Ramanujan College, a computer science specialist, will definitely agree. Garbage in and garbage out is a 6th class class book definition. If we put input in a very low degree, we will not have it. Wing Commander Satyam Kushwaji, you please tell and bring enthusiasm in my participants, those faculty teachers, where each one of them is definitely a node for 1,000 plus students. Your dream which you always talk about, your changes. I met him for the first time when I was also part of the committee of geospatial, this policy, new policy which is there. He had invited me and I saw him for the first time there. He's young, he's dynamic, and he's doing so much for geography. Sir, please
Thank
give
you,
this
ma'am.
enthusiasm to my
Thank you so
participants.
much for the kind words, ma'am. Sorry that I had to shift my time because there are too many things happening at this end. So we need to kind of, adjust ourselves. So thanks a lot to the honorable faculty who's present here and the teachers. In fact, I come in front of you as a student because I think I'll remain a student till I die. On that note, I would like to bring to you certain experiences and just give you a strategic insight as to what's happening globally and why the study of geography is so important. And needless to say that since geography and geospatial information is the foundation to human existence, anything that you do, anything that you make, or anything that we inherited flows from the location and its and how it is arranged on the surface of Earth. And for that reason, it's very important that we study the subject with much greater detail and much more seriousness than any other subject. Because whether it is science, whether it is literature, whether it is arts, whether it is anything that you do, it has a location connect and it has a time connect. So when I talk of geography, I don't talk in terms of 3D. Generally when we're talking of 3D maps, I talk of 5 dimensions, and that is your lat, long, elevation, time, and context. And context is infinite. It depends on the strength of your imagination and the ability of technology to convert that into reality. How you can integrate data from different places, and how do you derive correlations, understand trends to take informed decision making. And that's what is all about. And trust me, we all do the use of geography in everything we do at every instant of time. For example, if you're for a student whose mother asks him to get something from the market, he's also trying to figure out as to how is he going to do, where he's going to park his car, so that he's got best access to the shops where he can load the stuff that he buys in the most easy manner, and which are the shops he's going to go to, and what are they going to have in each of those shops which will meet his requirement. So that's also a location analytics that is happening in mind. And I call that the human mind is the best GIS in the world and the fastest in the world, because it travels at a speed which cannot be measured. So I think geography is something very, very foundational to our existence, and we need to see how we can promote its utilization effectively. As ma'am very clearly brought out, the geography has been taken over by the software makers today. I know of personal cases myself where somebody was designing a mission planning system for the Air Force, and those guys had not even open maps. And an aeroplane which was coming to a point and doing a 120-degree turn was doing a spot turn, whereas it has to have a radius of turn, it has to have a G angle to it, it has to have a bank angle, and based on that, where it will roll out on ground and whether it is going to hit a hill or is it going to go into a building if it's going at a lower altitude. So those are the things that they have not catered for. Why? Because they had never slept on a map. And maps are something which are very, very existential to human existence, as I said, because they allow us to understand the spatial and interconnect of things. And in that regard, it's very important that the laws of GIS that are written are commensurate to what the requirements are, because generally, that there is a trend that वो GIS है तो सही होएगा, उसमें सब कुछ जो जैसे डाल दो चलेगा काम. But it is not so. It is what purpose you're trying to do it for, and how is the output going to come. For example, I talk it from a military sense. Since I come from that domain, a missile which is launched from a location A to B, and it is following a circuitous route depending on the type of projection and the thing that you're using, you will get different answers. So in one, your decision will be you cannot launch a missile because it is outside the range. In another one, you'll get an answer that yes, you can. So there are distortions, and it has huge national security implications. Similarly, when you do construction projects, if your data is not sitting correctly on top of each other using the same parameters, that means the standards, the road can be out by what you have planned. It could be 100 meters that side, and you can be sitting inside somebody's house instead of actually being on the road. So there are serious implications. I remember a case in US where boundary walls were done and they did not follow proper standards in a certain state, and they had to redo that whole thing, and the cost of it was $800 million. And this was something which was told by the person who himself was asked for this project. So that is how serious the matter is, and that's why it's very important that we as teachers, I mean, you as teachers would need to take your subject much more seriously. You will need to update yourself with what is happening, make it very interesting for make it very interesting for the students to be able to relate to it in real sense and see how their life is being affected by geography in real sense. Unfortunately, what happens is we remain in books. It's important that you give them the task to read the books at home, but ask them to apply it in their real life in your classrooms and see how they are trying to, how they play with geography and make it a process-driven approach in their own lives. I can tell you that I can give you immense examples, especially where maps were not properly prepared. And one of the first crashes that I got to know about when a very very expensive aircraft India had procured, and he was my coursemate, and he went and rammed into a hill because that hill was not marked properly on a map. So those are the implications where you have cost in terms of equipment, you have cost in terms of human lives, where a wrong understanding of geography or an incorrect work done by a surveyor can impact a human life, or it can cost country huge expenditure. You probably would have seen an example of a sea-link flyover coming, and there are two approaches coming and meeting, and they are geographically displaced by a few meters, and that's how that bridge was not matching, but it was like this. So that is how it can be if you don't use the correct parameters and standards, and you don't pay attention to the minutest detail of geography. I think that whether it is science, whether it is even COVID, understanding the COVID patterns, how COVID took place, where it took place, what is the significance of that place, what's happening in that place, and plotting it, geography again plays a very, very important instance. And I can give you an example of how we use geography and an understanding of the geospatial technology to save human lives as part of my Kranti initiative, which stands for Knowledge, Resources, Analytics, Networks, Technology, Innovation, Integration. It was an online think tank that I created way back in 2016 to bring people from the industry on a common platform to improve the national geospatial policy, which was being drafted at that stage. That group has now grown into about 101 groups under 61 different verticals of national interest in nation building, in which healthcare is an important segment. And you'll be happy to know that during the COVID times, maybe some of you would have read about it, Kranti was at the forefront of providing voluntary support to the families and those impacted. We impacted about 3,500 lives and handled almost 400 very critical cases. And where we use technology was citing where oxygen was and how do we route our ambulances in a manner so that you could reach with the patient to the hospital, and especially handle contingency where the hospital rejected you and you were running low on oxygen, as to how now you reroute and where do you make the oxygen cylinder reach so that that life of the patient could be saved. And I can assure you that for want of oxygen, we did not lose a single patient. Despite all the challenge that was happening, we busted drug cartels who were trying to black medicines by intercepting where this guy is sitting in terms of location, validating it, and informing the police about it. Just to your surprise, to the surprise of many, you will be real shocked to know that medicines which are being sold in black for 15 lakh rupees, we have given it free of cost to people, or at times below MRP. So that was the impact how we use geography. There's a guy who's sitting in Ara in Bihar, but he's claiming that he's selling cylinders sitting in Dwarka mode. And we use live interest to understand location and how this guy was faking his presence. Similarly, taxi drivers faking his ambulances. So we
Wing
use both.
Commander Kushwa,
Yes, ma'am.
Wing Commander, I think so. We will leave something for your long lecture.
Okay, ma'am. So it's okay.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
it's a
because
very
we have-
exciting
and I want
subject.
to and I want to tell everybody that you will have a flavor of his long lecture of 1 hour, and he will be talking about that. Thank you very much for sparing and telling everybody that
you, ma'am. Thank
geography
you.
matters. Message
Absolutely.
today is geography matters, and these people
Absolutely.
matter. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And now, can I request Professor Rana P.B. Singh ji, first of all, of course, to present and, to present your whatever you wish share. But I want to thank you. Sir, your relationship mantra, I never knew you. I only met you for the first time on a sad occasion when it was a condolence meeting of Professor R.B. Singh. And then, getting and gearing and getting closer to you and all that, I realized that you are the one who is actually making a difference. Sir, over to you.
Can you see
He's also giving a long lecture after this as a first inaugural lecture. Sir.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. It's very clear.
No, something is wrong here.
I can see, sir.
No, something is just a block. Okay, now, so let me just full screen. Yeah, okay. So, namaskar to everybody, and thanks that you have invited me in such technical things, which is not part of my life. I am more close to Mother Earth and Mother Nature. But anyway, some, you can say, different type of association that RB, who has been my younger brother and student also, and colleague and co-author also. So naturally, that becomes my moral duty to respect Seema ji and to come here. Here I am because time is running short, so I am just quickly passing on in 5-7 minutes. And the main thing I will talk in the lecture scheduled for 1.5 hours after this whole inaugural session. So it is just you can say just like a memorial thing about R.V. Singh. You can see his photographs. So some of the things, let me tell you. How geography is now. Geography explains the past, illuminates the present, and prepare us for the future. What could be more important than that? Michael Palin, 2007. One thing I have to warn, with all due very humble, you can say, my all due apology, that we geographers, and mostly in developing countries, always try to say geography is everything. And in philosophy, we say, if anything is everything, it is nothing. That is the one thing. Second thing is that I make a joke, what I learned in my Western training, that at least in India, but in most parts of the world, what is geography? Geography is a potato among vegetables. You can put anywhere, anything, and put geography. That is very close to anthropology also. And that's why that twin brothers like that. This is the way that he explained the whole Venn diagram. This is based on Peter Haggett. And then at the center, you can put geography, then alt set and superset and like that. And then you completely become confused and then say that it is geography. This is the way that unifying geography started. That was 1994. Whole system, what to be done like this. Here is what we are trying to think over that always we emphasize define geography. I don't know why. Why other subjects are not giving too much emphasis, but we are giving something in a different way. Those who are familiar to Leonardo da Vinci and the most famous diagram, that is a Carvatunian man. So I have tried to put this and then combine. I have worked on Leonardo da Vinci in Italy. So that is not a subject, it's a way of understanding. If you read the original writings, like Eratosthenes, who coined the word geography, then you can understand, oh my goodness, there was something philosophical gap. We got more technocratic be less human being. It is a way of understanding, a vision of creating, an art of making, a bridge of interconnecting, a spirit of awakening, a conscience for realization and leading to revelation. What we are now talking to a certain extent, Indian new policy system or Indian knowledge system, and Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur, they are now full central government of India. They're talking about Indian knowledge system. And then at least a geography fellow is represented there, myself. Quickly I am passing through. This is the way the history starts. Without history, you can't survive. You have to learn from the past. Here is what happened during 50s. How geography was, just you say how inducted, and geography are the beautiful world. And here is quality factors and quantity factors. Full drama has gone. This is based on Leslie Cooley, famous article published in 1979 in a Canadian journal. 3 stages of geography. That is how the whole quantitative revolution came, and then they have adopted, and then everything gone like this. Then comes the second stage, the Marxist approach. They have tried to put that how these things are coming to the social context, etc. And then that was 80s to 60s, 80s. And then afterwards, what happened? Geography, whatever in academia you have tried to do, she has captured all that, crushed all that, and then gone to what we call geographical reality. That is a famous cartoon. So we have started the whole history of sciences tradition, culture, environment tradition, location tradition, area studies. That is the famous diagram based on 2004, the report of the National Science Council, US. Then the 5th tradition has come 2 sides. One side is pure tech, everything you are adopting. Then other side is what is your moral concern. And latest writing, which is in the process by Edward Ralph, a man who wrote very famous book, Place and Placelessness. I don't know how many of you are familiar. A geographer has given a new philosophical thought. Many books written about that. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be kind to this place. So the whole idea of this consciousness was developed. This is the way that one decade whole program, that is the Sustainable Development Program, and where is geography. So substantial contribution to environmental education. The chairman of that committee was Martin Haig, a geographer, a physicist converted to geography at Oxford, Martin Haig. So he tried to put geographies like this. It is different color from different discipline mixed together. And that's why we make a joke that this is just like potato. You can put anywhere and you can say that it's geography. One of the contribution when we are going to use and say something, here is something geography contribution. This is the one example, and the only one such example, at least in whole Asia. Based on sophisticated electromagnetic waves, all calculation, then GPS, it has been worked for 7 years. Just you can imagine, that was a big project. And then we come to conclude that how location is so much important, and how ancient thinkers, this is 9th century, we have dated this. Exactly, you can find a plotting 14th of July, like this northern side, that maximum light in whole North India concentrate at this particular place, that is in Varanasi. Then on 14th, which is the Makar Sankranti, so religious festival, why that is so important. So now astronomically this is good. Thanks God that now UNESCO cultural heritage context, this goes to a famous physicist, Subhash Koch, who has put this at here in geography together with other disciplines. They have tried to prove it. So just giving you an idea, this is another perspective. So we are talking about only high tech, and we are leaving our original thing, that is a study of place, study of placeness, study of place attachment. That is another perspective. You can use high technology and then try to explain man, nature, nothing like division. There is nothing now hyphen together. Already 2017, UNESCO and ICOMOS said nature, culture, one. There is nothing like two division at all. And the same thing I already been discussed in 1925 by Carlos Saab. Here is example. Using high sophisticated GPS, And every site has been measured about 300 to 400 times in 4 seasons, and then the average has been taken and plotted. This is the example of Gaya, a famous place for post-cremation rites, Sadh Kriya, exact circularity, and that is described in the text, 7th century text. Then the way they have described how sunlight coming, what is going on. So mythology, we have used the T, and then we find it's in 90% correct even today based on the science. So that may be just humble suggestion that you have to combine in this way to understand the basic reality, what is already inherent in the nature. Like Khajuraho, when we talk about Khajuraho, anybody say, oh, that is an erotic symbol and a lot of stones and sex things, blah, blah, blah. This is the way the whole colonial approach, Western approach propagated, and we all enjoy it. What we did when I was doing work under the famous solar physicist, Kim Malwell, who was related to NASA program, and he was also advisor in space program here in India. We have worked together for 7 years. First thing he said, clean your mind. Every problem generates from the mind. So first thing is clean your mind. Bye-bye to everything, just zero. And you have to understand there is something great mystery, great science in Indian classical thought. That was his idea. You're not knowing a single word of India, Sanskrit, anything like this. But he said, 20 years I have worked coming here in India and loving and not knowing all these things. When we started measuring this whole Khajuraho area, out of 21 temples are 2 are out of the range, all exactly on the date of Shivaratri. Sunlight is start on top that. There is a stone here, reflecting light is going, all touching all the main images at this point. This is all published in scientific literature. I am not adding anything else. I am not saying that this is mine. Nothing, it is not mine. I am just presenting what masters have worked. I was there just very, very tiny assistant to that program. Just giving you an idea. Then you can say, when you are talking about GPS can be used like this. Then you can use with other, like geomagnetic survey and then electromagnetic survey, think all together. And then you can hear the place leads, place starts, place love, something like that. Okay, so let me just one to side and finish that. This is just introductory part. My lecture will be there. Time is short, so we have to also just cite Albert Einstein, one of his famous quotes, which in many of my writings I always cite that. If at first the idea is not absurd, then there is no hope for it. Research is not starting with a fixed aim. It should be something complete beyond all the limit. That in Hindi literature, Mahadevi Verma, considered to be one of the great writer, poetess of the metaphysical tradition, that is translated in several languages. So I can just cite one original line. तोड़ दो यह चितिजकारा देख लूं सोर क्या है जा रहे जिस पथ से तू उस पथ का अंतिम छोर क्या है. Oh my dear, why you are always fixing the line? This cosmos is infinite. So you have to cross all these boundaries and then try to see what is the ultimate. Then only you can come to understand the ground reality. That was based on. So let us cross all the borders, come out of the room and go to the field. How many of us going? That we have to ask. Field means questionnaire feeling, then data feeling. Data is not love. Data is not life. Data is not. Data to be linked with that for better understanding. And the last quotation by a living legend in theoretical physics, of Capra, the writer of Tao of Physics. So the last line from the book, now it is 4th edition. I am citing from the 3rd edition. Science does not need mysticism, and mysticism does not need science, but we humans need both. This is the way the things are going on. And now it's just a memorial quickly passing on that, my dear RB, your vision and messages are always with us. As Seema is so emotionally, so touchy, with all the deep feeling which can't be measured in words, she has already explained. I am just having a memory of that one. How here is the president, Aiju Yuyama, who has already sent some message for this refresher course to RB Singh in a different pose. in different situation. You can see that B.W. Pandey, who is going to speak something about his master, that was Indian Science Congress, present president, Michael Meadows, and Army, myself. Okay. And just let me close like this. One of the great saying, and the only one example in the whole history of 100 years of IGU, International Geographical Union. Two things happened. First time in the history, an Indian became Secretary General, that was said. First time in the history, 1980, a female became president of IGU, and that was Annie Bridgeman. And she explained this whole idea that, look, the most important things are two. When you talk about Earth, you have to think about Mother Nature. They are not different. So when you are talking about gender approach, it is nothing like gender approach, it is a human approach. Why to separate gender, maleism or feminism, rather, or like this? And we have to realize this one. So we have to submit the biographical or autobiographical, experiential geographical note. Thanks God that already a bibliographical series based on such observation started under the guidance of IGU. So here is the president, and here is one of the vice president, and R.B. Singh, Anna Butman, now no more. She already died 3 years ago, 2011. Okay. She was my master also for my long back studies at IT, University, like that, and inspired. This is the last, just to have memory of the IGU team and the first Indian who has been respected in the first chair. It reminds me Einstein 3 levels. That Einstein was 10 years before, in the back Rutherford, etc., in the front, and then in the third stage, Einstein was expected to come and just have this front row. So this is just a memorial thing, and my lecture will be there, where I will discuss all these issues. This is just a memorial tribute in honor of Gandhi. Okay. So now, last thing, just to say, why? This is based on Swami Vivekananda. It is again the insight route. Whatever you are talking on Mahatma Gandhi, I don't know how many of you know, in development studies, in London University, there is a compulsory book, and that is called 50 Key Thinkers on Development. I have written about Vivekananda. There was a big fight because I earlier wrote second edition Vivekananda. Earlier Mahatma Gandhi was by me also. Simon is the editor. When I wrote this first thing, they said, oh, he was a great monk and philosopher. Then I said, sorry to say, I am giving you parallel things how Gandhi derived everything from Vivekananda. Most of the philosophy thought of Gandhi is nothing like original. They reinterpret or adding Gita. So here is the line from Kathopadishan. That is the 5th lecture at Chicago. And he concluded by that one, and that is message for all the youth. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. And if you are not coming up to that, there is no hope for this world. You have to come, not we. You means all the youth. That was the message. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We are honored. And I always say that physical spaces, social spaces, cultural spaces are all together, sir. And even like, I always say, why can't we remember space, in the context of what we have in our writings? Whenever I teach remote sensing, I always say, remember Sanjay. What Sanjay was doing in Mahabharata is remote sensing. He was sensing Kurukshetra right from the distance. That's what remote sensing is all about. And if we have to teach space and in time framework, sir, of course, Hanumanji, what he was doing in Ramayana was very different, his role. And his role in Mahabharata was very different. He was there on Dvaj. So it's so easy to learn and, but are we actually doing it or not? That's something what I want to coax in this refresher course. It's that please be closer to S, that's called space. And teach them with your neighborhood ingredients only. what is there in your culture, what is there near to you, what is so closer to you, make it spiritual in your teaching also. Thank you very much, sir, and I'm looking forward to your inaugural lecture. Participants, you are so lucky that, you know, you'll be hearing him, and he has so much knowledge. He has written so many books. We'll talk about it when I'll be introducing him then. Look at his humbleness. That's what I want to tell you all. You are learning not only what they are teaching, but you are also learning from them the way they are acting. ये सब लोग वो हैं जो इतने ऊपर हैं, प्रोफेसर पीसी जोशी हो गए, प्रोफेसर राणा पीबी सिंह हो गए, ये लोग सब लोग, they've reached their heights what you know, I don't know, many of us would not be able to achieve. At least I know I'll not be able to do it, but they are so humble. They are the ones who are living on relationships. He is remembering his younger brother, and he's remembering all that, and he's getting so emotional, and still he's part of this journey. I know that there's another. Thank you very much, sir. I'm looking forward to your lecture just immediately after this. Thank you very much, sir. Right from the core of my heart. And Dr. Tapti Banerjee, I have requested Professor Rana P.V. Singh ji, looking at this thing, maybe we get going one day negotiating and coaxing him, sir. We'll make a cultural atlas with you, for you, and we will try to do it here, in case if, like, you know, I have somebody like, you know, my interaction with Dr. Tapti Banerjee for all of you. She's also a geographer, but she's the first lady director of NATMO. And I'm doing right now, we are doing a joint project on Women Empowerment Atlas of India Science and Technology Perspective. She's humble enough to take a teacher like me with her, and that's something which is there. So now, Dr. Tapti Banerjee, would you please like to say just few words? She's also a co-convener of this course. Thank you, ma'am. Just few words, remembering Dr. R.B. Singh also, and just little 4-5 minutes, ma'am.
First of all, I convey my namaskar to all senior personalities and eminent professionals, especially Professor Rana P.B. Singh. And as this session is dedicated to Professor R.B. Singh, as my previous speaker, they told that he is a good mentor for the students. I believe he's not the mentor of the students only. He was a mentor for the professionals who are entering in their professionalism at the beginning, and he is the best mentor. I feel in India he's the best mentor, as I feel. So I convey my sincere thanks to Dr. Seema for including me in this prestigious program of learning system, learning mission. And as most already we are really, after hearing from Professor Rana P.B. Singh, we are really speechless, I should say, after hearing from him. And as the most very few things I just want to mention over here, that being a geographer and geospatial technology perspective, I just want to mention over here, as this is integrating all the physical, social, cultural, economic, everything, including the gender spaces also. I just want to convey to the students some of the things that as geospatial technology and the geospace, and that was the started with that geography and cartography, when that was the main emphasis was to bring the 3D space onto that 2D plane surface, when the projection, scale, area, azimuth was used to be considered. And here we can refer the name of Arthur Robinson, who dedicated his career in developing these things. And for the true depiction of the art onto a plain sheet of paper. Now came that analytical cartography on the way, and with the advent and as advancement of the technology, especially that digital cartography and computer cartography, which we now refer as that geographic information system. And now the professionals and scientists, they realize that this geographic information system is mainly related with some software and hardware system. So they are now referring it as the geographic information science instead of system, where the space, object, and attributes are joined together in a systematic manner and a more scientific way, where the data model, mathematical model, and geometric perspectives are considered. So, but this is not the end. we must go ahead with the technology to reach to each and every persons of India as well as all the world. So to reach with that Google, to reach with that Android apps. So my humble request to the students and their mentors to develop the students in such a way, especially the geography students, in such a way to be the business professional and marketing professionals with that latest technology to reach to the people, to reach to each and every persons. So with this, I don't go much away, and with this, I thank you again to Shima ma'am, and especially to the listener for listening me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My all-time favorite, Tapti ma'am. Like, it's such a pleasure of working, and like, that's what I want to imbibe to all of you. I'm just a simple teacher in college. And in case if like, and Tapti ma'am also is just a woman. We have still not touched the class ceiling. We only have 11% women who are vice chancellors, though 80% toppers we all are. And out of that, only 6% in co-ed places, 5% are women universities, where it's mandatory. What happens wrong when we are toppers, but we cannot reach the top? We have to ask for that secret mantra with Dr. Tapti Banerjee. She's also going to give you a big talk. Thank you, Tapti ma'am, for telling us that. But that's something, and they all are geographers who are working with geography. And I want to tell you, Tapti ma'am, and to Professor Rana P.B. Singh and all of you, we have Shefali, from, Dr. Shefali from IRS has agreed to talk on 3D. She's giving a lecture on 3D. We've got lectures on artificial intelligence. We've got lectures on robotics. Your friend, Dr. Krishan Mohan is talking about, Professor Krishan Mohan is talking about robotics. We have lectures on COVID. We have lectures, Professor Atikur Rahman is talking about that, how health and all these are there. Then we also have lectures by Professor Anandita. We have lectures by Professor Pandey, Professor Subhash, talking about geoheritage and all other things like we are having it. But dear students, just remember, there's a principle of opportunity cost. We can only provide things to you. You have to take it from there. वो कहावत सुनी है ना, पानी और घोड़े की, मैं क्या बोलूं? मतलब आप घोड़ा पानी के पास जाएगा, पानी कौन पिएगा, वो कहानी है हमारे सबके ऊपर. So hard work and smart work, still hard work works. So that's something which you all always have to work. Thank you. Now, of course, I want to get like, that emotional pitch. Slightly, I want to thank Anju for sparing her papa for all of us. Anju, are you there? And Anju has already, like, she's attending this course also. Anju is like, attending papa's course. And Anju also is a teacher like each one of you. She's teaching in Aditi College. Aditi College, and that's what, Anju, I just want to say one thing. We all love your papa. I know you miss on the other day when I said you were so emotional and crying and all that. We all also miss papa, of course, not to that level and not to that, maybe that emotional realm, what you all are going through. But I would definitely like to thank your mom. अभी तक तो सुना ही था, like, and I would like to thank you. I would like to thank your brothers and sisters. I'd like to thank each one of you for sparing your papa, for so many students, for telling us what a teacher is. When I say that, like, this program, in one of the condolence meeting, one of the bacha, even I don't remember the bacha's name, that student said, हम तो घोड़े भी नहीं थे, हमें तो अरबी घोड़ा बना दिया प्रोफेसर सिंह ने. क्या टीचर का ये काम नहीं है? और उन्होंने तो दिखाया है. अगर उन्होंने बाकी सबको नहीं दिया कोई बात नहीं, उन्होंने तो हर बच्चे को तराशा है. क्या हम टीचर का ये रोल नहीं है? हम टीचर का रोल क्या है? हमारे टीचर का बस एक ही रोल है, that we all have to see, we all have to take out the best of our students. And that's what Professor R.B. Singh represents here. Anju, please, just, requesting you. I know you agreed with very heavy heart, but I would like, to tell everybody that's what is the holistic way of learning. That's what is the integrated way of learning. We just loosen on to one stepney. None of us, the ones who are there, Professor Rana P.B. Singh, Dr. Tapti Banerjee, Professor P.C. Joshi, Professor Agarwal, Professor Vibha Chauhan, or each one of us have our own stories. So everybody had a home Dear participants, never say घर के काम है, बच्चे हैं, and all that. हम सबके भी बच्चे हैं. Even I am married for more than 30 years. सबके बच्चे हैं, सबके बच्चे आगे जाते हैं, सबके बच्चे काम करते हैं. We all have to find times within that macro space. All right, Anju.
Thank you, ma'am. Namaskar to all who connected this online program. Chief guest of this program, Honorable Professor P.C. Joshi, Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Delhi. Respected Satyam Kushwaha ji, Principal of the Ramanuja College, Professor S.P. Agarwal, Principal of the Kirodimal College, respected Professor Vibha Singh Chauhan, Professor Rana P.V. Singh, Convener of this program, Professor Siva ma'am, Dr. Tapti Banerjee ji, B.W. Pandey sir, Arun Tripathi ji, Nidhi ji, coordinator of this program, dear colleagues and participants. It is a privilege for me to hear that this 2-week refresher course in geography is dedicated to the life and work of Professor R.B. Singh. Exactly 4 months ago, he took his last breath, bid adieu to this material world with lots of vision for geography and academicians. As a daughter and a fellow geographer, I value him as a passionate research academician, as a popular teacher, humble, down to earth, as said by Joshi sir. Excellent sense of humor, and above all, he's a good human being. He was a good human being. He dedicated most of his time to research in geography. His life and relationship with geography was eat geography, drink geography, and live geography. He was true workaholic who worked till his last breath. From a village, a small village of Bhajanpura of Chhapra district of Bihar, being an average student, but with zeal and curiosity along with never to die spirit, he promoted Indian geography at an international arena. He has made countless contributions to the promotion of subject at national and international level. Professor Singh, a teacher par excellence, always quoted Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore, a teacher can never truly teach unless he is still learning himself. A lamp can never light another lamp unless it continues, it burns its own flame. He lived his life following this principle. He loved traveling for academic purpose, and he has spread his knowledge and his research finding through unaccountable visit on various type of forum from every part of country to global level. There were so many occasions we directly went to the department from the station or airport after attending events, and from the station airport to department, so that he does not miss the lecture in department. Even forget to tell his family. He came to know at last minute when he was packaging his bag. His memorable visit, on his first visit to Malaysia in April 1979, for which to manage the travel expenses, he had to sell his watch. His life was a very struggle, full life, throughout his life. He's visited more than 45 countries, with a numerous visit to many countries. And he last visited China in November 2019, just before the spread of COVID-19. He attended all IGU conferences in 1982. His contribution to the mountain geography was worth acknowledging. About 1/3 of his total research, based on various aspects of mountain ecology. He was one of the first people to propose the lowland-highland interaction in the Himalayan region based on his observation and extensive research work. He was the one person to talk about sixth industry required to mobilize resources for revitalizing villaging, India's smart rural development. Through his research and teaching, he always thought of bridging the gap between the physical sciences and social sciences. He always celebrate important days of geography, organize awareness workshop, sent reports in print media, posted in social media, and all these things linked with national initiatives. He was a self-made man and who made himself from nothing to everything. But also the people who came into his life were also achieved their goal under his guidance. He always wished well for everyone. Wherever he went, he brought a smile to everyone's faces. Behind the countless achievement of Professor Singh, the credits go to his wife. As rightly said, behind every successful man, there is a woman. His wife played an outstanding role in his life. Her constant support made him focus and spend most of his time in his work. She devoted herself for children, house, and many other things so that he can devote himself for geography. Papa always felt fortunate to have her in his life. He calls my mother, Aap Devi hai, you are a goddess. I feel blessed to have him as a daughter. Who was always inspiration for me as guidance, and but same time I envy his research and student as he has spent more time and knowledge and expertise with them. I wished I could have been his student rather than his daughter. The milestone he has set in lifetime is difficult to achieve for a common man, but certainly not impossible. As a geographer, I would definitely try to emulate my father. I would like to express hearty thanks and sincere thanks and gratitude to respected Professor S.V. Agarwal sir, Professor Vibha Singh Chauhan ma'am, Sima Parihar ma'am for taking initiative and to dedicate this course for my father. I will be grateful to all of you for your kind presence and participation. With this, I conclude by saying that Professor Singh is a role model for budding geographers. Let us carry on with his legacy till time immemorial. In Bhagavad Gita, aptly written that a gift is pure when it is given for the heart to the right person, to the right time, at the right place, and when he expects nothing in return. Wherever his soul today will be very happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anju. Take hugs from all of us. शुक्रिया 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 अपने मम्मा को भी बोलना कि उन्होंने वो सही मतलब उन्होंने आपके पापा को हमारे लिए दिया ताकि हम लोग उनको आज एमुलेट कर सकें. It's our, you know, like for us to honor this program to Professor R.B. Singh is because he is actually like that. I mean, we look for role models outside in global ecosystem. I'll say, why not him? And for me, he represents every day we'll be remembering Dr. R.B. Singh. And let's hope that we all would be able to come out with something concrete also. And that I think so would be a loving memory. I remember last days when he was there in my interview, he said, Siva, you know, please write, you write less. And that's something, you know, which I think so I owe it to him. We all owe it to him to do so much more than we have ever done. And thank you, Anju, and thank you, Anju, for participating as a participant in this program.
Thank you so much.
And like, you know, thank you. And please, and all participants, I'm telling you, you all have to report the inauguration program. First assignment, reporting of inauguration program in 500 words to 1,000 words. That's your assignment 1, writing about your college, your name, and the zone that you all belong out of the 6 zones of India. Thank you very much. Professor Pandey, are you there? Can I have Dr. Arun Tripathi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Oh, acha, Professor Pandey is here. Right, Professor Pandey. I want, how can something like, you know, can we have without having students talking about Professor R.B. Singh? You all may be thinking that why am I saying Professor Pandey is professor? He's a professor. He's our mentor. He is one person who is our teacher. Why have I put him in the category of a student? Because for any one person who actually can be put in the category of a student, in my age realm, he's much younger than me. For me, Pandey will always remain a true student of Professor R.B. Singh. If I want you to map Professor R.B. Singh as a teacher, as a mentor, as a researcher, as a great man, as a great geographer who bridged geographies, who bridged different places, who bridged different locations, and who brought newness to spaces, and who allowed geographers to capture spaces, then Professor Pandey is the one who was tagging, like, behind him. Let me grab some learning from him. So students also have to learn, and that's something which you all have to do in this course. Professor Pandey, thank you very much. Thank you very much for everything. I'll not mention the day you'll have your, and he'll also be there for a big lecture. So please capture him and his ideas on that day. And I'll also get an opportunity to speak more about him. Professor Pandey.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Respected Professor P.C. Joshi, sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Delhi University, Professor Agrawal, sir, Principal of Management College, Professor Vibha Chauhan, madam, Professor Kushwaha, Professor Sima Parihar, madam, my colleagues, dear participants. First of all, I do appreciate the effort of Professor Sima Parihar, madam, since day first. Since the genesis of this program in her mind, believe me, she is taking day and night, connecting everyone to make this program a grand success. And I congratulate Madam Professor Sima Parihar, who had made this program a grand success. Finally, I do believe the way you have connected the people, the way you have contacted the people, and the way you have pursued day and night. I'm busy in the marriage of my niece, but I looking your sincerity, I can't have courage to say, Madam, I'm busy. I have to manage some time for this program, and especially this program is devoted to our teacher, my teacher, our mentor, Professor R.B. Singh life. So you are very rightly, not only me, thousands of students like me, they were nurtured. They were nurtured with Professor R.B. Singh. I remember my days when I came in Delhi from Varanasi in 1989. Babu Singh from Banaras Hindu University. Professor Bechan Dubey told me that you go and meet. He's my student, and he will help you out. And that day of 1989 and the July 2021, every day I used to come to see Professor R.B. Singh in the Delhi School of Economics. जैसे एक मंदिर में, इष्ट देव के मंदिर में जाने से एक सुकून मिलता है, मेंटल पीस मिलता है, इसी तरह से प्रोफेसर आरबी सिंह, जो इंसान उनसे एक बार मिल लेता था ना, खाली हाथ नहीं जाता था, कुछ न कुछ जरूर लेकर जाता था, और सबसे बड़ी बात, एक अपनापन लेकर जाता था, मेंटल पीस लेकर जाता था, एक सुकून लेकर जाता था, एक नया आइडिया लेकर जाता था, एक मोटिवेशन लेकर जाता था, और कुछ करने की हिम्मत, साहस लेकर जाता था. These were the qualities of Professor R.B. Singh. और क्योंकि एक आदमी जब खुद लगातार काम करता है ना, so say that only the lamp you can lit the other lamp if it is lightning. वही दिया दूसरे दिया को जला सकता है जो खुद जल रहा है, और वो ऐसे दिया थे जो निरंतर जलने वाले थे, कभी भी खाली नहीं मिलते थे. ये चेयर पर बैठने के बाद टेबल पर से नजर नहीं आते थे, उनके सामने कागजों का पहाड़ होता था, देखना पड़ता था झुक करके कि सर हैं कि नहीं। Definitely, madam, due to lack of time, I will elaborate in my lecture. I got free, but definitely, ma'am, thank you so much for organizing this program to remember our mentor, late mentor, Professor R.B. Singh. And sincerely, I don't have words to express his gratitude. I don't have words to pay the tribute to the name of Professor R.B. Singh. कोई भी इंसान उनके कमरे के सामने से गुजरता था और चला जाता था, कभी देखिए जी कौन है, उसको बुला करके उससे समस्या सुनते थे और जितना हो सकता था उसका समाधान करके भेजते थे, कोई खाली हाथ नहीं जाता था। सचमुच में एक टीचर जो अपने स्टूडेंट्स को नर्चर करता है निस्वार्थ, मेरे जैसे न जाने कितने लोग डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली जो उनके स्टूडेंट नहीं भी रहे हैं वो भी अपने आप को उनका स्टूडेंट मानते हैं, और धन्य है उनकी शख्सियत। जब इंटरनेशनल ज्योग्राफिकल यूनियन में IGU में उनके लिए ट्रिब्यूट का एक स्पेशल इवेंट किया गया और मोर देन 102 कंट्रीज, मतलब ऐसे इंसान जो एक नहीं 100 देशों से ज्यादा देशों में एक साथ याद किए जा रहे थे, आंसू छलक पड़े। और लिटरली वर्थ, इंसान लंबा जीवन नहीं बहुत बड़ा जीवन जीकर गए, बहुत बड़ा जीवन जीकर गए हैं। मेरा श्रद्धा सुमन गुरु जी के चरणों में। प्रोफेसर राणा PB सिंह सर साथ में हैं, प्रोफेसर राणा PB सिंह सर बड़े भाई के रूप में सर के, और मैं प्रोफेसर राणा PB सिंह सर को मतलब फॉर द कोर ऑफ माय हार्ट आई एक्सप्रेस माय ग्रेटिट्यूड, माय सिंसियर। और जब भी मैं कई बार प्रोफेसर राणा PB सिंह सर को सर के घर पे पिला हूँ, और पता चला कभी न्यूजीलैंड जा रहे हैं, कभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया जा रहे हैं, कभी जर्मनी जा रहे हैं राणा PB सिंह सर, उनके साथ उनके वीजा के लिए बहुत सारी चीजें, मतलब प्रोफेसर राणा PB सिंह सर के साथ भी रह करके ना, मेरे प्रोफेसर RB सिंह तो थे ही, प्रोफेसर राणा PB सिंह भी वन ऑफ द पर्सन हु एनकरेज्ड मी टू हैव द इंटरनेशनल एक्सपोजर। कहते हैं जब साथ रहते रहते संसर्ग गजा ही दोष गुणा भवंती, जिसके साथ जैसे इंसान के साथ रहोगे वैसे बनोगे। तो सचमुच में मेरा सिंसियर ट्रिब्यूट to Professor R.B. Singh, Professor late R.B. Singh, and my sincere thanks and gratitude to Professor Rana PB Singh sir, and a special thanks to Professor Joshi sir, who is so nice. I don't have words to say, sir. Thank you is very little word for you. एक छोटे से रिक्वेस्ट पर तैयार हो, हाँ ठीक है बोल दो, मैं आ जाऊंगा, तैयार हूँ। मैम सीमा मैम, मैं इतना मतलब सच बता रहा हूँ कि जोशी सर के ना भगवान करे धरती पर सब लोग जोशी सर बन जाए, धरती स्वर्ग हो जाए। सच्चाई में इतने बिजी शेड्यूल में भी मैं रिक्वेस्ट किया, बोले ठीक है पांडे बोल दे, बोल, मैं आऊंगा, जरूर आऊंगा, मुझे याद रहेगा। So nice of you sir, thank you so much sir for your kindness, kind acceptance, and thanks to Principal Agrawal sir, Madam Principal, Madam Bibha Chauhan, and a special thanks to Professor Sima Parihar ma'am. Thank you so much ma'am, and hope to see you in the coming days in the same professor course, and good wishes to all the participants. Thank you so much ma'am.
Thank you Professor Pandey, thank you, thank you, thank you. पर थोड़ी जलन हो रही है आपसे that you had the privilege of being a student who could actually rub shoulders with Professor R.B. Singh.
अंजू ऑनलाइन होगी, मैं बताऊं मैम, अंजू ऑनलाइन होगी। अंजू बार बार ये कहती थी कि काश में इनकी बेटी नौकरी की स्टूडेंट होती तो मुझे ज्यादा टाइम दिए होते। सच्चाई है मैम, ये सच्चाई है। सुबह 8 बजे से रात को 8 बजे डिपार्टमेंट में रहते थे, स्टूडेंट्स के पास वो ज्यादा टाइम देते थे, घर फैमिली के पास कम टाइम देते थे। अंजू, ये सारे सेक्रीफाइस के बाद भी अंजू, मैं आपको भी बहुत बहुत थैंक यू बोलता हूँ अंजू। लास्ट मोमेंट में जितना ध्यान आपने सर का रखा, जितना आपने सेवा किया, you have proved a worthy daughter, and heads up to you अंजू। वो मेरा बिल्कुल आपको हाथ जोड़ के मैं इसके लिए शुक्रिया बोलता हूँ। बहुत किया अंजू आपने, बियॉन्ड इमेजिनरी आपने दिन रात लगा करके जो सर का सेवा किया, ईश्वर इसके लिए आपको बहुत बहुत साधुवाद देंगे, धन्यवाद देंगे।
Thank you. Shukriya, Professor Pandey. But to all the participants, before I get my own favorite young colleague from Kirodimal College, Dr. Arun Tripathi, I would like to tell each one of my participants, remember, all those the ones who achieve are not divorced from families. They all have families. They all have small kids. And they all nurture relationships. The average divorce rate is 44% today, but they all have retained themselves in that strong relationship of family, children, chacha, taya, bua, papa, mama, and they still have gone ahead and have progressed and have done so much. Today, when you all have taken time for this refresher course, make best use of it. Make an optimum use of it. You are just at the right place at right time and right opportunity when world is looking at geography for decision making, but you all have to become a geographer to occupy that space, improving, learning new skill sets. And at no time anyone is saying that foundation tools are wrong. Postmodernism era is forcing you. I have speakers who are going to tell you about all those methods also. It's not only quantitative revolution of 60s that is there today. Today is a day where, everyday geography, everyday talking, everyday manipulation of spaces is required. And Professor Rana P.B. Singh, just after this in his inaugural lecture is going to, bring you to the roots and the culture and the value system that we all live in. Welcome, Dr. Arun Tripathi ji, my teacher in charge from Department of Geography, Kirodimal College. Please tell them a little bit about the department which is organizing this and coordinating with this course.
Thank you,
Arun.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It's my privilege to be part of this wonderful program and wonderful session. Honorable Professor Puisi Joshi sir, Professor S.P. Agrawal, Professor Vibha Singh Chauhan, guest of honor Sri Sanjay Sahaji, and our very dear Professor Rana P.B. Singh sir. Apart from that,
Arun, are you there? Arun, are you there? I think so. There's a network issue. Arun?
my apologies, I got disconnected.
But I'm so happy this is the first glitch. Yes.
Sorry, ma'am. I offer my apologies for the same. Geography by very nature, in this word, we talk about interdisciplinarity. Geography by its very nature is interdisciplinary in nature. And geography by very nature in this globalization world, when we talk about interdisciplinarity, this is a subject which by its very nature offers the such it's very natural. It's a natural subject which is by its very natural nature, it is interdisciplinary. So our Department of Geography in Kirodimal College, it was started in 1959 by Professor M.P. Thakur, and it has produced range of people in, whether it is civil servant, whether it is in academics, whether it is in social sector, whether it is in armed forces, and we are very proud of our alumni. We have obviously we have excellent faculties as well, and we get excellent students as well from our place. Right now, Professor Seema Mehra Parihar. She is the senior most person in our department. And she has a vast experience of almost 34 to 35 years. I mean, she might not be looking like that, but yes, she has that much of experience. And she has, her area of specialization. We as a younger faculty has tried to learn and imbibe some of the characteristics which she possesses, like her diverse interests and how she goes, in tandem with time. So she's an expert in natural resource monitoring, remote sensing, GIS. And right now, in last few years, I'm seeing that the way she is working in gender geography. She has already, done excellent work by designing gender atlas. And she has a range of publications as well. So our Department of Geography, right now we are 12 in strength, and still our college is, our department has produced lots of research projects, a number of papers, a number of publications listed, which are listed in international database like Web of Science, Scopus, and EBSCO directory. And also it has published, many books related to geography. This is a department, which is also contributed a lot in research projects. And our college, our department earlier has adopted 8 villages in Uttarakhand, and did wonders with all those villages by, taking, what we talk about in classrooms, taking it to the field. And so we are not, because we don't believe in being an armchair geographer. So we tries to connect the both places and try to reflect that how, you can make it some output oriented, and how you can link the lab to the society or lab to the field, which has been said. I know, already the program has been extended, so I will not take much time, but certainly, ma'am, we are looking forward to get more such experiences and be benefited from this excellent refresher course. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Arun. And just wish to share, Arun is just like you, one of you young person. And but he's, do you know that the projects that he's handling, sometimes one feels, can colleges get projects even of lakhs and crores and all that? But our department, Arun would be right in saying that, we all are getting all that. But it's not that we have to say that, please, sometime now, we can boast of one thing, Arun, isn't it? That we can boast that we get invited projects. Yeah. Thank you. And thank you very much for being part of it, taking us a journey. We all have to get together and take this discipline forward. You all have many years ahead, and I'll do that. Thank you very much. And now over to Nidhi. Nidhi, thank you very much for coordinating and doing it so well. And I'm telling you that geography, ultimately after 15 days, I promise that I'll make a computer science expert of you to a geographer. 15 days and in making you a geographer. But to tell all the participants, she's going to update you on everything. But remember, you have to submit your report of this session. You also have to plan your chapter for the book that we are taking out after this course. And you all have to submit that by 1st December in the memory of which we're doing in the Professor R.B. Singh. I'll be sharing everything in my own long lecture. Immediately after this, we have a lecture, inaugural lecture by great Professor Rana P.B. Singh ji. Nidhi, to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So before I propose the formal vote of thanks, I would like to, read out a few rules and regulations for participation in this refresher course. The participants are requested to to kindly pay attention to all these rules. The first and the foremost rule is registration on the LMS, the portal, is very much mandatory, because unless and until you are not enrolled on the portal, you won't be able to access the course contents. Instructions for the enrollment have already been posted in the official Telegram group of this refresher course. The second rule is attempting and submitting all the quizzes and assignments is mandatory, and each participant must secure at least 50% aggregate to be eligible for the completion certificate. Rule number 3, graded certificates on the basis of your performance will be awarded to the participants. And last and the most important, as part of the Ministry of Education's requirement under the Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching Scheme, all the participants need to submit an online feedback form for each session. This online feedback form will also be available on the portal itself. So please, all of you are requested to enroll yourself on the portal. And again, I am saying that the instructions to access the course contents have already been posted in the Telegram group. Moving ahead with the vote of thanks, I believe this is one of the most difficult tasks that has been given to me, and I hope I can do justice with this. First and foremost, on behalf of the organizing team, I would like to thank both the patrons of the colleges, Professor S.P. Agarwal Sir, Principal and Director, Teaching Learning Center, Ramanujan College, and Professor Vibha Singh Chauhan Ma'am, Principal, Kirorimal College, University of Delhi, for always being the guiding force and the guiding light, right from the conceptualization of the course, right till its execution and implementation. I would like to thank our chief guest, Professor P.C. Joshi Sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Delhi, for sparing his invaluable time from his busy schedule and always being readily accepting our invitations whenever we invite him for an inauguration or a valedictory session. Special thanks to Wing Commander Satyam Kushwaha, Director, Indian Space Association, for agreeing to be there for the inauguration as guest of honor on such a short notice. A big thanks to our keynote speaker, Professor Rana P.B. Singh Sir, Department of Geography, Faculty of Science, Banaras Hindu University, former professor and head, BHU, and President, Asian Cultural Landscape Association, for being the keynote speaker and also one of the most eminent speakers that we have in this refresher course. We are very thankful to you, sir. My hearty thanks to Dr. Anju Singh, Associate Professor, Aditi Mahavidyalaya, University of Delhi, Professor B.W. Pandey from Department of Geography, Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi, and Dr. Tapti Banerjee, also a co-convener, Director, National Atlas Thematic Mapping Organization, for recreating such a beautiful image of Professor R.B. Singh Sir in our minds and our hearts. I am sure this image will remain etched in our hearts forever. A big thanks to our resource persons for being the pillars of strength and support throughout this refresher program. Without you, the refresher course, I'm sure would not be as it is right now. Now coming to the most important people without whom this refresher course again is incomplete and would not have materialized, our course convener, Professor Seema Parihar Ma'am, Department of Geography, Kirorimal College, who is instrumental in roping in some of the most huge and eminent personalities for this refresher course. I remember those long conversations, day and night, that we are having in making this a success would not have been possible had you not been constantly being after me that Nidhi, yes, what is the status? What do we have to do next? And then I am also, messaging you day and night. Ma'am, give me the recordings, give me the abstract, give me the bio. So thank you so much, ma'am. Special thanks and Mr. Vipin Bhaji for taking care of the LMS and the portal related technicalities. My organizing team members, Dr. Ashish Shukla and Mr. Prayadav, for taking care of the brochure, poster, resource persons list, and the enrollment list. Thank you so much, everybody. Over to you.
Thank you, Nidhi. I think so. Thanks are done. Now for the next course, will we have a break for 5 minutes or we continue with it? With the permission of Professor Rana Singh Ji. Sir, bataiye. Thank you very much. Bye for the course. Can you all, the ones who are there, Can we all clap hands through emotive? Can we all do that? Yes, cheers. Such a nice course, so much energy, remembering such an active man. I think that Professor R.B. Singh is still around. And I think all of us are still around. So let us move ahead. Let us promise ourselves that we'll contribute in a big way. And so now, I think so, Professor Rana P.V. Singh ji, with his action, he has shown that let us continue without wasting time. Yes.
Already we are late for
Yes,
5 minutes. So
yes,
naturally,
sir.
yes.
Yeah.
Before I can say something, let me say my emotional feeling with the Karodimal College. First time I visited in 1974, and Professor Thakur was there. And Professor Thakur was very close friend since the London days of my master, Professor R.L. Singh, considered to be father of modern Indian geology. That's how association. And I stayed in the house. And when I met, he never said, I said, beta, aaj aao, bhitar hi rehna hai. Kuch liye ho kya? Humne kaha, nahi, hum to aise jhola, bas is ghar mein chale aao. That was the affection. Then again, I met in 1977. When Professor R.L. Singh was going to Israel, and some paper I have to collect and hand over to him. Professor Singh was staying with him. He always used to stay with Professor Thakur. That was the relation between Professor Thakur and my master, Professor R.L. Singh. So with all that memories, I'm again linking to Maji that somehow she had chosen me. I don't know, the grace of God. Seema means boundary, but she's always across boundaries. And that's how I got some insight from that. So 2 things I have to say that many people may not confuse. I got some diploma course in high sophisticated technology in senior technology. I use until maybe 20 years gap and a little bit just to say this, that my training are double track. Mostly I try to just put my life for not remote sensing, but intimate sensing. There are 2 sensing. One with machine created by man. We are going to have our lecture artificial and all that. This okay. And there is another side, intimate sensing. After all this technology, for what? For us, for our love, affection, spirituality, whatever it may be. This I have just given you a little bit background that I feel so much attached to Kirodimal College. And just now, recently, 2 days ago, I received a letter that was addressed to Seema ji by Rajiv Thakur, okay, from US. He's a senior associate professor and director of the South Asia program. And he wrote that I feel so emotional and honored that I am a student of Kirodimal College. But unfortunately, that day my program is fixed like this. So I send my message like this. Anyway, this is the way that whole link is going on, and credit goes to Simati. So namaste and all that. And the second thing I have to say that never in my life I thought that I am a scholar. I am no way scholar at all, and never want to be a scholar at all. The second thing, nothing like any recognition. My best known introduction in the MIT was that he is Rana from Banaras, the city known as something holy city. And second line, they have added, he is a student of R.L. Singh. Finish. Go ahead. Nothing like this, whole thing like this. So that thing I want to tell you that what is the grassroots link and under whom you got your talent. Okay, now let me come. This was my emotional feeling.
Can I just say before you start, can I have a permission of just 2 minutes?
No, nothing to say about me.
2 minutes, sir. 2 minutes.
No. Please, I will tell you and then let the heart link with me. You all can test me.
So 1 minute. Okay, all right. So 1 minute.
This artificial praise is not required. Your affection and blessings of all. I am not product of myself. These are all blessings of everybody. Okay?
Okay,
please.
sir, 1 minute. One methodological thing I have to tell for the refresher course also.
Okay.
One methodological thing, and then I come to that, is that I need to have, Nidhi, are you there? I need to have people who are rapporteuring for today's session? Nidhi, have you made any? Can I have 10? Can I have some people, the ones who are here, the participants, to rapporteur today's session? Can I request Zainab? Zainab, are you there? Shaptarshi? Zainab, आप हैं यहाँ पे? Soni, Ashok, Roshni?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Who is there? Roshni. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Okay, Roshni. I am looking for more people. You have to be a rapporteur. You have to submit a report of this session.
Okay, fine, ma'am. I'll do it.
And
Thank
plus
you.
now I'll have other people also with you, but you have to submit a report, and the format is report writing. 500 to 100 words, 500 to 1,000 words. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Zainab, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Zainab, you have to write the report of this session.
Okay, ma'am.
500 to 1,000 words.
Okay, okay.
Poonam, are you
Okay.
there? Poonam, are you there? Usha? I'll have one more. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, तीनों हो जाए ना? 3 जने तो हो जाएं कम से कम. Can I have Vijay? Vijay, Shaptarshi? Ashok? Ashok? Ravinder? Pradeep? Volunteer, bache. What is happening? I have to become very strict. I'm Nishi. Mamta.
Ma'am,
Madam,
Mamta,
I
great.
will, Madam,
I'm
I
really-
will do.
Okay, so Dipesh, Mamta. So we'll have 4. We'll have a Chaturbhuj. Okay. All this Chaturbhuj, we'll have that. So all 4 of you have to do a rapporteuring for this session, and you'll be submitting your report
Yes, ma'am.
by tomorrow morning.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much. Can I write your name, please? Dipesh, Zainab,
Yes,
Mamta, and Roshni.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, great. Rapporteuring, 500 to 1,000 words. You have to map Professor Rana P.B. Singh ji's lecture. All right. Thank you very much. Over to you. Now, Professor P.B. Singh ji, I just want you to just remember, he is such a humble man who has traveled more than 25 countries. For that matter, he has traveled all continents. He loves culture. He loves those tools which are around. And he's also, did you see ACLA? Asian Cultural Landscape Association. He's part of that. And he's also reconnecting himself with culture. He has written many books. And in case, you all may think that how does he get energy to be here? He gets this energy from his spiritual driven path, all these years which he has taken.
Okay, so
He has visited assignments. He has got, no, let me just see this thing so that, sir, I can just, I'll just end after this. He has, he's got how many books, like in the books and the journals and all that, 125, 200. Can you ever think in your life? He has also written so many research monographs, national, international, global level. And he's also visited, we'll just end after this. He's visiting assignment abroad. I've been Japan Foundation Fellow, Okayama University, Japan, visiting Professor Geographer, Environmental System, Virginia, USA, and visiting Professor Carsland University, Sweden, BHU Exchange Program. He visited Otago, Dunedin, New Zealand. Then he also visited Indo-Japanese exchange program.
Please,
Okay,
please.
all right, okay, all right. Now I बड़ों का आदर करना चाहिए. मैं सिर्फ एक बात बोल रही हूँ. एक बात याद रखना बच्चों. जितने भी ये कोर्स अटेंड कर रहे हैं, सर भी आप जैसे ही बच्चे थे कुछ साल पहले, पर सर को ये मौके मिले या सर ने मौके खींच लिए या सर ने मौके हथिया लिए। सर से पूछिए, ये सब चीजें आप सबको हम इसलिए दिखा रहे हैं क्योंकि सर आज सर इसलिए नहीं बन गए, सर ने मेहनत की। हार्ड वर्किंग एंड स्मार्ट वर्किंग, देयर इज अ थिन लाइन. Smart working can only come if you work hard, and that is the only mantra. And see, he's there with so much spark and this thing. All right, over to you, Professor Rana PV Singh ji, and my personal
Okay,
thanks.
thank you very much for this. I can accept as a blessing from you. And the title itself is giving this geography beyond geographies under the aegis of cultural awakening. So very rightly, Simaji has indicated the whole track. So let me start like this. What's wrong? Not working. Yes. That idea I am going to link with two things. It's just like nothing like arranged lecture. It is just like plucking flowers from different gardens and putting together, just like you can say mixed up type of a bouquet. It is up to you how you are going to do that. The idea now we are talking of climatic change, exact climatic change, and discussion about that already raised by great geographer, one of the three pillars of geography, that was Alexander von Humboldt. Already he explained. And again, recently we have started debates in 2017 under UNESCO and ICOMOS program, nature culture as one unit form. Nothing like nature and culture. Those days are completely, it is already signed by 192 countries now, and the same idea already that man has discussed. This I am telling you how our forefathers have always tried to see geography not as a just box-like subject, but something like universal. So that is the way. And the second thing was, you can see the map here, just showing the travel of Humboldt, how Humboldt has traveled and tried to receive the messages from the land, the people, the culture, interaction, and then putting all those things when he was already 72 years old, about my age. Then he started writing Cosmos. This is the way that is now easily not possible. So just a memory I am giving. Another man which had very strong influence in the West, but not in Indian context. I am sorry, whatever my knowledge, limited knowledge, is already now 102 years old, a Nobel laureate, James Lovelock, who was the man who initiated atmospheric chemistry. He was the man who he was the first leader of the Mars expedition of the NASA project. And we started this. What he said, he had introduced a theory called Gaia theory, which is very common. In PhD we were teaching, but when I retired, that course has been cut down. Sorry to say, but in Oxford, Cambridge, and London, that is fixed course you have. Gaia means very close to, you can say, Mother Earth. And that I wrote a long letter with all this exploration from Atharvaveda and sent to James Lovelock, that look, don't consider my English, I am Indian. So naturally it is not British English. But try to understand the message. Whatever you are talking 5th, 6th century AD, based on the Greek philosophy, etc., I am talking of Atharvaveda, like this parallel. He was so much happy that first time in my life somebody from India has written all these things. And then I received 5, 6 books, all air with his inscription, thanks to Rana and encouraging Rana. This I am saying with the encouragement of Simaji, that this is the way the things are going on. Blessing of the masters, and then how you are going to awaken yourself. That was the man who said that the time will come. God and Gaia, the Mother Earth, will realize that who is responsible for all this stuff. This is one great contribution. Okay. He got for science fiction Nobel Prize. This is more philosophical. Second thing, what you wanted to tell, that don't you feel this is a mental crisis that everybody is saying that within 300, 400 years, the earth is going to complete collapse? He said it is not like that. That is the law of the nature. Several times it happened. Why you are always crying like this? That was another philosophical text. And now to link it, that how when you, that was define The original word is that geography is the study of the earth is capital. If you translate it in that. The moment you can put E capital and the class, it means organic system, a life system. And that we mistaken always talking earth is a resource, earth is a planet. So that was a philosophical gap. That's why I am giving you that background. Here is a man who really tried to say the real insight of understanding geography, that was Carl Austin Sauer, considered to be the father of modern geography in the United States of America. When he was only 27 years old, he was full professor, director, and everything like this. Already retired in 1955, died in 1975. Geography is the way to understand places. Thus, its aim is to make places happy. Now I am adding Johnson. Places happy, harmonious, and humane. What is our real contribution? Only technique or real service to humanity? That is the big question. And he raised that to understand in the frame of interconnectedness. Very similar to this, in Indian thought, we have a man, H.G. Sankalia, but we have never tried to study Sankalia. Only credit goes to A.B. Mukherjee from Chandigarh, who wrote an article about Sankalia and his contribution to cultural geography, linking Carl Sauer and Fred Neefan. But that is not popular. Okay? So this is the way that things, if you see the historical perspective, then we are leaving that so many gaps. We are never trying to survive those, revive that, and link with the modern things. What he defined the culture itself, that is a classic definition. So many explanation books written about that. Cultural landscape is fashioned from a natural landscape by a cultural group. Culture is the agent, natural area the medium, the cultural landscape is the result. So cultural landscape are literally an imprint of human history. This was the man who challenged Harshon. Nature of geography, you know that whole classic story. Simple thing, he said that it is nothing like that variable character and spatial and like this. It is all that close relationship you have to, and this is the classical model, how he tried to see it. So it's a little bit changed here and there that is used. So in what is wrong? Okay, this is nothing like you can say special type of landscape. Instead, it reflects upon the way of saying. And that is in Greek philosophy that is called now adopted in English, clairvoyance. It is just like in Hindi, you have to say man ke hare hare, man ke if you have nothing like clear mind, everything is diluted. If you have clear mind, anywhere you can go, there is something substantive. That was the geographical orientation of the great master, how they tried to say. So seeing landscape and associated attributes that emphasizes the interaction between human beings and nature over time, maintaining existence, continuity, transformation. Existence, how it was in the past, continuity, what it is, transformation. Nowadays, we have since 1987, sustainable development. Later on, I will refer to that concept. And then transferability. It is always going to be transfer. What we got change is the law of nature, Darwinian law theory. That the cultural landscape, this is also a great path to Indian knowledge system. Thanks to IIT Kharagpur, that they have started Government of India a special center for that, and in that they are linking all this using high tech and also what is the system developed in the past. And this way we can say here is Indian knowledge system under our new education policy. Okay. So making envisioning Indian cultural landscape a way of cosmic understanding. Like here is an example what Simaji mentioned, the spiritual. Here we have the metaphysical explanation or decoding. This is based on the 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the left hand, how Krishna transformed himself to say that who am I. When Arjuna was confused, he tried to say that everything within me and I am looking after that. You can see the parallel things in the Western scientific literature when we are talking about Oppenheimer, how he tried to explain this whole atomic energy equation, etc. And then if you read his book, My Days with Physics, he cited that my father was doing that, and that's why I got that knowledge, and that was based on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where it was explained that how this whole cosmos and atom is going to be passed. So this is the similar thing to say that great scientists, how they have derived our thing, and we are always thinking there's something coming from the West. Where we are. And in that, I have to remember David Sofer, great geographer, lifelong. He studied India. He was a little bit arrogant and conservative type of person, not going to meeting and lecture and all that. He wrote an article, an exploration of India, and question mark, 1973, and challenged that why you people in India always talk a regional concept. Why not you say ilaka, hamara desh, hamara pradesh, like that. That I have reprinted in one of my publications of family. So the message is based on our Indian metaphysical tradition: think cosmically, see globally, have regionally, act locally, but inside. Later on, I will put in a model frame to see that we can see that Indian cultural landscape. Now, that is started sustainable development goal. Now everything is sustainable development. 17 rules and all those things developed. Here is a history like this. 1987, Vanderbilt's reports. They have three: society, a social consequences, economy, and environment, three together. And whenever they have overlapping the core, that we call, that is the frame of sustainable development. Then soon it will be realized there is a big gap. What about the culture? What about the notion? What about the tradition? And culture has been added. So only after 2 years, it has been added in 1989. Then later on, it is realized that no, it is not like that. Culture to be put in the center. And then the latest from where the sustainable development goal started, December 2015, that no, culture is overall captured. Everything controlled by culture. We have to think what to do for the culture. Here you can say, many of you, those who are highly technically advanced with all this technology, are going to hear, I'm not criticizing anything. That is not my field. So I have no right to say like this. But Hosei Technological University, which is the biggest technological university in Japan, they have run 5 years project based on 5 important sacred cities of the world, just to understand that how water phenomena, land phenomena, and high tech to be linked like that. After 2 years, the team visited as tourists to Varanasi, and somehow we met at the Ghat. Generally, I am wanderer, so somehow I met. And then they have requested me, could you prepare a paper? The title should be Nonsensefulness of Banaras linking to high tech and then giving message for Japanese technology. Can you imagine this? That was already published and appreciated. And then they have changed my visa. No, want to more lecture. And then later on, they again invited me, you have to give lecture on Modi Nama and technology. The thing is that how this whole thought process is going on. So that is simple way to say that you have to understand this whole cultural perspective for whatever things you are going to deal with. Now we are talking about human values. This is 1939. Already Mahatma Gandhi has already talked these 3 levels. You know that this sustainable model is started: environment, society, and economy linked together, and above is human values. And that has spirituality also helps us have a compassionate view of nature. Gandhi said self-realization, S is capital. If you write it small, then that different meaning. S is always Swachetana. And that credit go to 1939. That was published in Norwegian by the father of deep ecology, Erne Næss, which was translated in 1985 by Cambridge University Press. Then the world can know, oh my goodness. When he wrote, people gave him title, his father of deep ecology. Then he said, no, father of father is Mahatma Gandhi. That is already in the encyclopedia. You can open and you can find this. The thing is that the most important thing is that we can generate this whole deep thought like this. And we have such person. We have nothing like, I don't know. Shivaji may be more familiar because he has a wonderful links to all over geography and whatever may be. Any geography department having full lecture, a full topic in the course, Mahatma Gandhi Contribution to Geography. Sorry to say that is in London University. And I wrote that chapter. David Simon wrote me. Then I said, look, I am not a specialist. And no, you are talking like this. Then you have here is a frame. Here is all that boxes. You have to develop like this. Then my committee will look into, and then you have to do like this. That is the thing. We are always talking that this is coming from eagle and false and all. What about us? We are not just like only puppet. We are also human beings. We are also having great thinkers. When we talk about like deconstruction theory, the Derrida. Oh, Derrida, deconstructionism, under what? Oh my goodness, whole Charvak theory and the debate is all the deconstruction. Still we are talking about what? Postmodernism. Those days gone by here, 10, 15 years ago. Now post-humanism came in this whole pandemic period. Not humanism, post-humanism. Now new type of relations came. And these are all things directly or indirectly discussed in the textual tradition. So this is just simply to give you an idea. Okay, people form a sense of ourselves. This is based on the deeper, what we call psychology. The whole series was there. And the sense of our place at a varying scale, range of scale. You know that two things we always talk about in geography since the primary school, scale and math. Okay? And then in that, so those days now gone, you have to advance. They're at the basement. Then scales, that is speciality, bhudirshyatamagata. I have point from Vedic texts and Upanishadic text and then try to link with that. Time frame, space and time, sequentiality, kalatamagata. Functions, activity, mobility forms, most deeply rooted in our cultural pilgrimages, quest, sacrality. कहीं भी आप इसका इस तरह से आप समझें, कहीं भी ऐसे मंदिर है उसमें जाते हैं तो आप क्या करते हैं? ध्यान. No way you can translate that meditation. No, it is more than that. You link from this world to some other world about nothing is known, but you link and get some, which you say ananda. There is no translation again. Sublime bliss in life. So that is, and after all is our mental states, this belief system, asthatva. How is your astha? If you never believe anything, it means you are believing something. And in Hindi movie, that is, I don't know which movie is that, but I say to my student that wonderful, only I remember that Manoj Kumar is going and from the background, the song is coming, Nana karke pyar tumhi se kar baithe. So when he said, no, I don't know, no, it means deeply you have something. This was the route to analyze this whole process. Then the second aspect, or other aspect, was what we call spirit of the place, which is coming from the, again, Greek philosophy, genus loci. And in Indian context, Vasudev Sharan Agrawal, those you know Kapila Vasayan, I don't know how many of you know Kapila Vasayan, the great lady of India. She was a student of Vasudev Sharan, and Vasudev Sharan Agrawal has written a small piece, Bhumiko Devat Pradhan, the divine manifestation of the earth. And in that he explained that how, if you have heart open in that way, touch that, and then the whole thing is coming up. So you are going to interconnected to the whole cosmos. So that message is proceed to experience this spirit and power of larger scale, locality, cosmology. Now the days had gone universality, because it has something different connotation. So in scientific literature, now the word is coming cosmology, in the whole cosmos, not only the increased universe, even beyond that universe. And we have three such levels, which geography has contributed. And I will show you the map for that. Cosmogonic cosmos, that is microcosmos, just like your body, or a temple, a shrine. Mesocosmos, the regional perspective, and then microcosmos, that is terrestrial. So generally, when we talk micro and then we say macro, no, we have always three. And three is fitting into the whole philosophic context. You can see Bhagavad Gita, three gunas, whole description is like this. So this is another perspective. Now something practical example is here. This is based on a model that was developed by International Union of Conservation of Nature. The Vaswarish student, who is the chief of that, and I am also associated a member of the committee. That fellow has given a model that in the now West, people are thinking how to create mental peace, how to really get the work done. So they have prepared this model. They is very widely cited. The way people perceive nature depends on culturally defined value and belief system that form an important, often intergenerational source of information. It started from local knowledge, management, institution, world view, cosmovision. Natural world, spiritual world, and this way have been the transcendental action. This had been adopted in Boston, in Kyoto, taking the case of Varanasi, of course, he studied in Hosei University and Amsterdam, poor city. They have time to develop such model what to be done. In Indian context, it is like this. So belief system is at the center, and then it is start from social context, you can say, a ritualistic frame, individual, kin, clan, village, and region, and then you can say, in terms of tradition, local, social, cultural perspective. Were developed by a great anthropologist, S.C. Malik, Chandra Malik. I don't know how many of you know. He's a very, he is the writer of the great book that is called Indian Formative Period. His brother is still alive. He's 98 years old. He's alive, brother of Kapila Vasu. So that things we have to, when we are talking about interdisciplinarity, it is nothing like that. This is a new phenomenon. Already this happened, and many people try to interact like that. Same thing when we say India, this is just to give it the most. Heritage city and pilgrimage sacred cities now it is widely discussed under the UNESCO program when we are talking about pilgrimage tourism and heritage cities planning. So we are a member of that committee, and yesterday also we have a meeting for that. I will give you the latest conclusion and recommendation. Just you can try to closely watch. Most of the, about 60% of the heritage cities are holy heritage cities. Now the new terminology, holy heritage cities are linked with the river. River is always considered as a mother. Okay? Without liquidity, there is nothing, power of fire, that is sun god. And those who are from Bihar are a little bit heard that now in Delhi also, Chhat Puja. Okay? So India is famous for making its own propaganda. Oh, Chhat is for Biharis. Okay? Sorry to say that at least 3-4 countries where we have our experimental programs in Korea, Japan, and China, they are making similar things. Sun is worshipped as mother. And if you see Marcia Eliade report, what he said in 1955, the translation in 1957, posting print, said a time will come, you will realize that the oldest sense of motherly spirit linked to the highest level of energy, that is Surya. And the title of mantra in Rig Veda, 3rd Mandala, 11th Chanda is Gayatri mantra, not Surya mantra. Sorry to say. And it was translated in English like sun is male. But you originally see, and then finally after that, you can find, oh, it is not that. The motherly spirit responsible to generate that energy so that sun has been born in this way, that is Gayatri. That is the literal translation. This way to link this whole idea of river and sun, then how the whole generation energy is going to be generated like this. Now, this is the wonderful example linked to the Indian contribution. When you are talking about what is Indian contribution to geography, sorry to say, only 1-2 lines mentioned in All Possible World report. The title is All Possible World, that's considered the classical book on geographical thought by Preston James, and later on 5th edition by Martin and Jones. This is called spatial transposition. In our system, there is a system of prana pratishtha. It means transferring ethereal breath from one to another place. This credit goes to Surendra Bharadwaj, a great geographer, alive, 96 years old at Kent University. He got PhD in 1972. In the same year, that was considered the best PhD thesis, so you have to know our forefathers. And then it was published as a research monograph by California University, Berkeley. Okay? Hindu places of pilgrimage in India. That was the title. It was reviewed so widely, he got a little bit fellowship. So it was for 1 year So many reviews in different languages. And then the fellow was appointed lifelong professor. He had never written anything afterwards, few editing and here and there. But hundreds of scholars from different parts of the world gone there to understand what is the message. Now, here is what he wrote. About 800 BC, based on the one Parva, forest canto of Mahabharata, Jyotirlinga light manifested Shivalinga over India. Okay, that map of India. In British period, a train service started. That is called Jyotirlinga Yatra Gadi. Still, it is going on. They have added some more names, but it is going on. It started from in October and from Old Delhi railway station. That will take 45 to 50 days. Okay, so 800 BC, now come 800 AD. That is the city of Varanasi. All have been replicated there. Here is 45 days. This is only 2.5 days. Third day you can come and everything is finished like this. All that replica has been made in a manner that in miniature form you can imagine. And then comes a temple. The same thing, all the 12 lingas on one plate. This is the great contribution of Indian thought, what you call special determinism given by China in a famous book on Banaras, and then that is called Sacred Geography of India by China, really awarded book, just published 2013. So that is the concept that we have to link like this, and then we can put high-tech to decorate these or more explanation. Is another perspective, where is India level frame. So we have done this work, 212 such sites in India developed in historical past holy heritage city, how they have been replicated in the landscape of Varanasi. And when we say replica, it is not like any two quality. One is the environmental condition or environs of that area, and we reduce in a manner. We have done photographic work on that and compare, it is 90% the same. And the chief priest of this particular area, Banaras, I mean already family linked with that. So social cultural link as well as environmental links. This is another great contribution rarely we find in other parts of the world, at least 5-6 countries we have there. Okay, most of you just see and then you all will laugh and funny. You can think, oh, Kali drinking blood, and that is she is a goddess of Tantra and all these funny things. My God, so much misinterpretation. Two great books written by physicists, one by Jacob, the other by Fritjof Capra, and we have full description. This way, the whole symbolic things already studied in the very famous physics laboratory, Lawrence Laboratory at Berkeley under Fritjof Capra. And what he explained, this is all metaphor. This is the whole drama of the cosmic evolution, that is Kali. Kali, feminine energy controlling the time. Okay, Kala, that is male. Kali, that is female. E, centered. E, chara, e, to it, ka. Brahman ki puri vyakya hai Panini mein. What is E, Kali? And then, simple example, this will take a long time. Anyway, you can count these all rosary heads. We have never tried to think over that. For I don't think that before Fritjof Capra people have tried in that manner. That is 51. 51 letters in Devanagari. 51 sound character in ancient A, E, U. It is all 51. So mother is controlling total sound phenomena. Blood is the energy, that is the sun energy and your body energy. Linking together. This way the whole narration is. So you can say this is the metaphysical perspective. Then blackness, she has black. Life is started, if you can read black hole theory, where the last intense darkness, from the darkness, only darkness can see the darkness, and from there came the light. That is the mother concept. So this is another perspective to understand. We studied in detail, and as I have mentioned at the beginning, this is nothing like my work. I assisted, and several such work have been done with the collaboration of master and guidance of mostly theoretical physicists or astrophysicists. Like self-organized critical theory of physics has been tested here in cultural perspective. But without map, without location, nothing can work. So geography is everywhere. But when you try always geography, then nobody can listen. You have to prove it that how it is going. See this map. When you go out, that is scattered. When you go inner, it's all going to be linked together. That is the theoretical physics. Very common now, what is called a chaos or self-organized critical theory. So whatever under Tim Malville we have worked in the case of Kali in the whole North India, and then this map has been prepared with the help of high-resolution GPS. So I am just to say that how we are using that, and look here, this is. If you can see the map of all the 51 just now, Kali, I have cited, Chi Parvat, and then going to Kanyakumari, exact the same longitude, 8th century. Now the two axes Hingalaj in Pakistan and here in Kamakhya, exact the same latitude. Who have done this? And now we see this biologically, what interpreted in metaphysics are archetypal representation, the two portions that represented the female organ, how they are balanced and disbalanced biologically. This is also fit into that. Remember 8th century. The whole textual tradition is there. Then representing that how Shiva was carrying the body of Sati and then fallen down. The whole India became Bharat Mata. India itself is mother concept. So we are now lacking that sense that our country identity feeling, never feel. Jayanti Deva Tilagi Sagani, whole Bhagavad Purana describing why this whole land is Mata, mother. Basic concept of it. He started from Atharva Veda, coming even up to 2nd, 3rd century, and 8th century was the climax of the solar system. We have gone to most of the site. This is nothing like a one-day description and all that. I am watching time. Another concept related to this water concept and feminine divine is related to Ganga. If any Hindu, don't try to put this manner of something like I am not associated to any party or anything else. Okay, so whenever you do sankalpa, you take a vow for any ritual, you do sankalpa, and then you use Ganga water. Any river, any water, it may be US, it may be New Zealand, then that will be called Ganga. Then mentally you link so deeply, putting holy basil, tulsi, or your mala, or nothing, just concentrate, and the water becomes Ganga. And this is described in Srimad Bhagavad Purana, that is Gangaization of India. So India has contribution, this whole concept, all the river of Ganga, 7 Gangas, we have taken water from all that and then done some analysis. And then we find, my goodness, how these ancient thinkers have done. And here I have to cite 2 things. One, Jimmer, another theoretical physicist, explained that this is the way the power of feminine divine mother earth and water live together to give the holistic frame to understand that we lack. That's why all these problems. Jawaharlal Nehru in his discovery of India also cited, if you are not understanding the story of Ganga, no way you can understand the history. Okay? This is the unique thing, only one piece in the whole world. So some example like the Bharat Mata temple. How many of you go to Banaras and try to see? As a student of geography, you go and see horizontal and vertical scale are exactly 9.3%. Exactly you can measure. That's why inaugurated in 1929 by Mahatma Gandhi. Each and everything is accurate. This was the art of this, and then whole area is Bharat worship. This way described. We are trying to put it in UNESCO inscription heritage list, but you know, Banaras is famous for politics. You know, always negative things they create the story anyway. That is another problem. Okay, some up 2 examples that how we can use the high tech, like sophisticated GPS. This was done 93 to 1990. About 5-6 years we have done. That was NASA is sponsored and in the National Science Committee from US. That was a project from University of Colorado Astrophysics and MIT under Janaki Malville. I served as assistant for 5-6 years. Look here. Based on Valmiki Ramayana, so at least 2000 BCE. Okay, that described that Valmiki is sitting here, right hand side, upper portion you can say V, and he described the points. And then he said, Hirane Garbhe, it is the golden egg is mentioned. When we have measured using our microchip system, 22 kilometers range, how they have described so accurate? It is accurate in centimeter, you believe or not, it is all published in scientific literature. Okay. Then it says that when you go to Bharatji's meeting to Rama, the moment they met, this whole earth, it started boiling. Nowhere that rock is found except that is found. So these are mysteries of nature converted into different religious symbolism. But in course of time, due to Western colonial or whatever it may be, several things we have lost like this. So we have to understand. Look here. In nature, exact like this. This is 5-digit we have measured. Every site has been measured 300 to 400 times in different seasons to see the precision. And it was 99.9%. It's not generally topographic map. Just reduced based on that GPS system. Mother red, apex is down, and the covering Shiva up, apex is up. And if you draw half of all, then you find the center Nabi, like nexus, like navel cord in the body. So whole area becomes like body. The moment you can feel like this, naturally you will project this in the mother. So we lost that sense. This is the Khajuraho, as I have already mentioned that how it's gone. Now here is the thing. It is not easy to do field work because on Shivratri, tribal people go all naked, carrying snakes, cobra, scorpions. How to do the survey? So we did the drama. We put rotten clothes and the local wine, what we call Tara, that is made of Madhulika, that Bahua, and then having some bidi, etc. And we started after naked time, MIT team, and then coming in. So tribals accepted us. And then we have gone there. And then we have used our microchip system and all sophisticated radar system, 7 radar system controlled from NASA. Then you find this is the great mystery. This is the only one piece till date in the whole world that on a particular day of Shivaratri, that light reflect on all the images of the two. Okay. So this is the way that what we call, this is our Dharohara. Again, the one we are translating the word Dharohar, something like Tikau and all this nonsense we do without going to ancient literature. We have wonderful description in our Prithvi Shukta of Atharva Veda Dharohara. Dharohar, Dhara, the mother of Prithvi, Lord Vishnu who holds, and Yara in door of identity through time. Thanks God, UNESCO has accepted in 2015. I was in that meeting, I proposed. That was in Korea. That is accepted. They have described all this, but still Indian, they do something else. For sustainable, we said Tikau. Okay, okay, because somebody great mind has done. Never we do that. We have wonderful words for the world. Explain sun. Okay. Anyway, just to say this, that how it is coming in, then the whole idea of Mother Earth started from that. Other word what we have tried to develop based on the Indian perspective, that when you are saying Dharohar, and in English heritage, it is not befitting. That should be equal to heritage escapes, and in plural sense. In Indian context, there is nothing like anything absolute. And for that, you have to use the broad perspective, what we call heritage ecology. The detail of all this, you can just put on internet, you can get the detail. Just okay. Example is here. I have only 10 minutes more. Okay. The example is here that what is your dharma? That is the big question. And here is Jaco, a philosopher, a sadhu, and professor of philosophy at Pennsylvania, but he's a sadhu. Complete monk with jata, kamandal, he's taking classes. He comes to Himalaya like this, based on his sacred journey book. I have cited with a little bit change to Jacoji, our good friend. We have done several times what he said. The dharma of a wind is to blow. The dharma of water is to flow. The dharma of honey is sweetness. So the dharma of human beings is to save the Dharohara. Okay, and now substantially transfer it to the coming generation. What Shimaji had very openly said, that if you are not carrying that on the root, this is the Sanatana Dharma, the eternal natural way of existence, maintenance, continuity. This way it is just against Eurocentric philosophy, and this has already been mentioned that all Eurocentric philosophy are aesthetic. Despite of all this, they are talking, no way in the whole Asian culture fit. This has been already raised by Edward Said and the Nobel laureate of literature. Okay? These are the 40 sites, heritage sites in India that is prescribed in the World Heritage List UNESCO. Of them, 9 are related to religions. On the outside, it is written, this is the Archaeological Survey of India monument. But you see that is all alive. People are going performing the ritual. That is India. So only if you see outside, then you say, oh, it is abstract. The moment you can go closely, sit there, be linked to the beggar, then you can find what I have mentioned. Spirit of place is alive. Mother is always there. Another example I have not cited, just it came to my mind, let me say. Any ancient temple before 10th century, we have done this for at least 50 temples all over India. Okay, this took so many years. Don't consider this is 1 or 2 years. And this is nothing like project. Simaji is taking a lot of project. We have never done project. This is our own feeling to do like this. Then we find any ancient temple of goddess just in the basement having a cosmic design, what you call a yantra. 108 type of yantra. And the cosmic one, which is a superb one, then now scientists studied, no way you can start anyway. That was already since 3rd century to 9th century, developed all over India. This was the sense that things developed like this. Okay, now just slowly to go down. Spiritual world, human world, natural world, again based on the International Union of Conservation of Nature, secular religious sites at the core. The moment you lost this, then all the prices are going. The same thing what Gandhi said, Atma Chetana nahi hai, to kuch bhi nahi hoga. Cheto bhai, what Kabir said, Cheto bhai, Cheto. Ab to maan jao, ab to samjho, kab tak ye chalega. Like that. Okay. The earth is my mother and I am her child. I am quoting directly the Atharva Veda. What he said, Mata Pritibhyam Patro Lakshmi. The Mahabharata tells us dharma exists for the welfare of all beings. Hence, that by which the welfare of all living beings is sustained, that for sure is dharma. And my another guru under whom I have learned this whole architecture and landscape planning, I am more close to that, Niels Gutschow from Germany. Just one introduction I can say, when I go to MIT every year 1 or twice, the blank check is given and he will charge for one lecture $10,000. And all this money he uses for the poor people, for the well-being of Nepali people in nearby Bhaktapur. And he lives like, nobody can imagine he is Niels Gutschow. Why I am starting this, what he said, I am in a real sense Hindu, because I have never followed any rule. I have only followed the rule, touch the earth and feel my mother is with me. So this is the way that painting is based on that feeling. Now, one more example I give, 5 minutes more, okay? That generally we think that ancient classics or theories are just what we call it in local language. It's a bakwas, nonsense. Okay? So it is the thing that you have no key and then you say lock is just only rotten one. It is not like Satapat Brahmana, the 5th century BC text, which describe the 5 basic incarnations of Vishnu, the Matsya fish, Kurma tortoise, Varaha boar, and Narsimha and Vamana. See the perspective. Water, air, earth, fire, sky. Taste, touch, smell, form, sound. The whole system is going. Now you can read Darwinian theory, Alle market system, and then you can come to close my God. Here is the thing. So we are missing that link when we are talking like Professor Joshi has said, Indian knowledge system, and Guru and Simaji also mentioned. These things we have to reinterpret in our own context. That is just to give you a pictorial view of the 5 incarnations, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, and then Narasimha, and then Vamana. See another example you see, exact on the same longitude. The 5 gross elements lingers. Okay, air, water, fire, earth, and sky. Exact on that. Who has made? 9th century before. How they are made? How they were knowing this? Simple answer. What my Guruji said, that ancient time people were so close to Mother Nature, Mother Earth. So from the mother they were learning. We have lost that system of attachment. That's why these things on. And we are, but it does not mean it is finished. It is there. Okay. This is another temple perspective that there are 3 such buildings in whole India. That is called Guru Dham Temple. Guru means not only simple teacher, the cosmic sense. Based on all tantric system, each and every piece of brick is, that is one is here, and then in Gujarat, close to Modi's home, and another is Banvaria in West Bengal. That I have already mentioned, just a little bit to say that there is a function like chat. So this is the way that rituals are going on. We think these are all like no use of, why in the US, Korea, and most recently in China, these things are coming up. They realize that without that, we can't have that continuity of our life phenomenon. Okay? Brihadeshwar. So it is nothing like you can say RSS. I am trying to propagate like this. The only temple, the only structure in the whole world which has no in-depth ditch, no, nothing. It is exactly from the surface, it started like this. And 3 buildings within 7-kilometer range, they are part of the UNESCO World Heritage. A lot of things written about this. And the most important thing is too, within 200-kilometer radius, nowhere granite is available. All granite. How it was carried? Okay. And on the top, somehow there is something here, upper portion is not coming. Upper is 80 tons, 80 metric ton, one round shape stone is on the top, 212 feet up. How it is set. And nearby area face earthquake, it is not. I have visited this, we have visited also this area. These are the other things that how we can have the mystical tradition of geography to interpret such things. Other thing is that how this geography context you see, this is the Silk Route. 130 BC to 1453 AD. That was the link from Korea, Japan, all over the Silk Route. And this way, Indian culture has gone in all these areas. They have accepted major part and then they have transferred in their own way. That is like this. Like very simply, we say, oh, in Korea, that is the Buddhist. Japan, Buddhist. No, it is not pure Buddhist. They have adapted the local environmental condition and then this whole metaphysical tradition mixed together, which may be best suited in that manner. But they always give credit to our Indian tradition. Now, the new things how introduced here is based on the Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana, how Rama has gone. It's long back in 1984. I have published that in Scientific Journal based on all this analysis and how it is so popular. This had been whole India level. Now training started. In this month, training started, Ramayana Express, just linking us. It will take 17 days. The first train already started from New Delhi. After 17 days, it will return back to New Delhi. Okay. Now, a special transposition concept in reduced form in Ayodhya itself. So that journey will be performed only within 2 days. All replica have been made, and this journey this year is started in Ayodhya also. So this is the another perspective. Whole India reducing into micro, so micro, meso, and then coming to macro level. Wonderful exploration and existence like this. So this is the way that whole Ram Lila is going. And now micro level, this is also World Heritage inscription site. Ramnagar Ram Lila at 31 places, all in symmetrical manner. That is started in 1795. Is the only such Ram Leela. It is not like one place theater, 31 all moving like this. No modern lighting, etc. Old type of lamps used, and all the public have to follow on and go to have this sense of that. Okay. Last one too. Now, this example generally we say that by 9th century, the Indian tradition, Buddhist tradition gone to China, from China, then it has gone to Korea, Japan, and nearby area, Taiwan, etc. But we find example. After the study, we got the text, we got inscription that the queen of Ayodhya, Hue, her name was Sariputra, but in Korean that is Hue, she had gone in the year 48. this way. And we got 13th century text which describe the whole voice, how she has gone, who are there. Then we have visited in those sites in Korea 3 times. And we have done the similar journey to feel that. We met the people. 60% people in Korea all belong to the ancestry of Korea. The moment they came to know, we have visited the association that we are from Ayodhya. So we have done our Banarsi trick, having that type of shawl and then some gift like this, all touching and kissing this. Oh, you are coming for our mother's place. That type of attention required to understand when we are talking about interdisciplinary methods and intercultural like this. This is the way that they are celebrating in Ayodhya since last 4 or 5 years. Every year, for 2-3 days, they are coming. About 300 to 400 Korean group, they are coming, Kim family, and they are celebrating this. And new way, new prospects for pilgrimage tourism at Ayodhya started for Koreans in Ayodhya. That is the memorials in Korea. This is the latest one just coming up, which is going to be inaugurated in January by PM Modi. So this is the way the memorial in Ayodhya. So let me now close my, it's want to just to say that one side we have James Lovelock, other side is, you can say Hawkins. You all know the big history of time, the writer. You read those things, what they say, that there is a need of Gaia Sophie. Gaia is Mother Earth. So that sense, if not come from geography in India, then who will do that? If we are not doing that, who will do it? Outsider people are talking, and we are not talking. That is spiritual sense and attachment. That is the latest development that started in 1985, and now only in 2005. The main thing we started in 2013. That is a big movement in the West, and people like this, even Bill Gates, a $2 billion for this project. This is called Big History Movement. We have to know our root and then link for the future. That education should be like this. Started from Humboldt, Carl Sagan, the man of cosmology, and here is a Barry Rodriguez, who is now chairman of this whole movement. He was professor of geography and now converted, put his whole life on it. So I am just giving you that how the roots are linked like this. Okay, the last one is this. It is just started, and on 20th, today is 22nd, on 20th November 2021, this year, inaugurated in Jakarta. That is called reconnecting with your own culture. If it is not now, UNESCO has sponsored it. And can you imagine, with only within 5-6 months, Italy, Japan, India, Indonesia, Morocco, Mexico, US, Germany, they all there send their representative, and government have proved that, oh, this is the way to understand nature culture interfaces, and without that culture, nothing is going to happen. So we have put this Indian sense from holiness to wholeness. The lady behind this is Olympia. She's only 48 years old. So Simaji, you'll be happy, and I hope that I can give address, etc., that you can have the link, and your Karodimal College through geography can be part of this whole movement, reconnecting with your culture, because you are preparing gender equals. So that will be so many things like this. So this is the latest thing. Now, it is nothing related to like this, but how we never try to understand our culture. Only one thing in the whole world. Earlier, it was dated 50 billion years for the growth of organism. That was Yellowstone Park in the US. And scientists, they have studied that is close to Banaras, that is 103 kilometers from the main Banaras city, and that is called the ancient most fossil swamp and life started. 1600 million years old, published in Scientific American and the famous journal Science and published. So whenever we are talking like Subhasraji is going to talk about geoheritage, he was giving a lecture, I raised the issue, I will say, oh, this is not in the list, sir. Then I say, look, this is the unique thing. Please put and highlight. Only nothing like only the government. This is the way. Close up, you can see like this. Okay, like this. Ancient tradition, Kumbh Mela, the biggest gathering in the whole world. Now it already passed, 78 million people. Okay, so now this closing like this. Certainly we need analysis less, but more synthesis between insider and outsider, the Eastern and Western, interdisciplinary and interdisciplinary, experiential and experiential, rational and relational, and so on. Thus, we would have sustainable, happy, and habitable human landscape. Let us hope for the truthfulness, to the goodness in the beautiful way, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, like this. And then the message from again Vivekananda. Tarai Acharya Brahmana, 37th chapter. Keep going, never be a stop. That is the only mantra. What Simaji has also mentioned somewhere. Never stopping and never tiring. We will keep steadfastly moving forward. What Swami Vivekananda says like this. What do we say about India? Look here. We are Sanatani, Buddhist, Jains, Sikhs, Arya Samajis, Hindu. This is the poem. And why I am this is showing that myself and RV Singh prepared just for the Paris conference. The full paper has been prepared and this is given there. But I am so sorry that my brother is now no more to say this. And I don't know this will be published. But anyway, I am going to put this as an e-publication on my own, as a memory of my brother. Same thing message I have been given, that you have to arise, awake, and stop not till the whole condition. And this has been voiced by Swami Vivekananda. Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you very much. Finish.
Sir, I'm spellbound. I can't say anything now. I can't say anything. Shukriya. मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि God का कोई message है. I maybe because I came to this. I thought refresher course, of course, having that GT and geospatial technologies and mapping. But looking at your discourse and conversation with the landscape, cultural landscape, cosmology, cosmic maps, and pilgrimage maps, and all that, it looks like I'm into a different journey. Maybe God is definitely giving me messages. I'm just trying to, I just like to share. I've started, of course, I'm reading Bhagavatam nowadays. And I'm doing also, you'll be surprised. But yes, somebody told me that Prabhuji told me, Kisima, now is the time when you should also you were doing Sola Mala, get into 64 Mala. Yeah. So I'm doing that also. And maybe that may be the reason why you have come into my life. Other things are there. I never realized, sir. No, I mean, this insight, I started off, I thought, maybe there's some message that's coming. I'll take time to imbibe that into me. I would, of course, please, I'd like to tell you right in this forum, please, this was for Dr. R.B. Singh, but please pick up my phone and stay connected. I think so. I need to be connected with you. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. And can I ask one of the students to thank, sir? I'm short of words. All those 4 students, Dipesh, Zanab, Mamta, Roshni, any one of you? Thanks, sir. Any one of you? Dipesh, Zanab, Mamta, Roshni?
Hello, ma'am. Dipesh here.
Please, ab sir ka shukriya kariye.
I'm equally mesmerized with, as you said, absolutely speechless. I have been reading your work very recently, since recently, I mean, and it's, I mean, the kind of iconographies that he, brought out or explored, and told us a completely different kind of geographies. Because for a layman, geography is only mountain hills and plateaus and rocks and minerals, or maps at the most. A complete, different geography that he brought to us, and not in a very orthodox way of presenting. So even his way of presenting was so different. picking up, from so many things and then putting, I mean, tying a knot from all those threads and then trying to, show us a different kind of completely different cultural geography. So I'm thank you, sir, from bottom of my heart, on behalf of all our participants and organizers of this refresher course. And thanks a lot. And we would love to hear more from you. And we also would like to, like if you share some of your work for reading based on your talk, at least 1 or 2 papers, which will open up more possibilities for further reading and research to us. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Dipesh, for such kind words. And please, the last part, sir has just joined. Just request, sir, yourself. Dipesh?
Yeah, sir, on the basis of today's presentation, especially with reference to Gaia and the cultural geography, if you could share with us, I mean, with organizers, then they can share with us some 2-3 important papers, some basic reading. I have come across some of them with you, but I want that all other participants also, if you could share just 2-3 ones, so that from there the people can pick up and they can go further for reading and research.
Okay. Can you listen me? Because it is something wrong happened. It is not coming right. Okay, I will send that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
It is not coming like what happened sudden. It's gone only. I can see you very tiny photo, but the full screen is not coming. I don't know what that is.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. शुक्रिया. मैं अब आप लोगों को बाकी तो क्वेश्चंस जो डालेंगे एक असाइनमेंट मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को दे रही हूँ. Please keep a note of it. You all may be having, take a map, go to your neighborhood place where you have either temple, mosque, gurdwara, or any other place which is there. Definitely try to make a map, not to scale map of that place. With, in case if you can add GPS to it, nothing like that, but make a not to scale map of the neighborhood place across religions, across beliefs, and you have to submit it. Other questions would there, but this has come to my mind from sir's discourse, and we'll put other questions also. Shukriya, sir. Shukriya. पर हमारे से प्लीज कनेक्टेड रहिएगा सर. अगर आप 6 को हमें दोबारा ज्वाइन कर सके, विल बी सो ग्रेटफुल इन ऑन द वैलिडिक्टरी. बट प्लीज स्टे कनेक्टेड. आई विल स्टे कनेक्टेड. प्लीज कभी पहचान लीजिएगा सर.
दीपेश जी ने जो कहा है, तो मैं पेपर आप यहाँ वो एक पॉपुलर नुमा जो उन्होंने आइडिया है, मैं अभी आपको भेज दूंगा PDF. जो लोग भी इंटरेस्टेड वो कर सकते हैं. And by the way, if you want something detailed, you can put my name and whatever topic on the internet. So you can find a lot of garbage. It is up to you to get from me. I am from the mud. So it is up to you that how you are going to change it and recycle it. Thank you very much for giving
Okay, thank you, sir.
honor. And more important is that I have no words to express you thanks, because in honor of my brother, what I can say? Nothing I can say. Nothing. Except this. First time that you people organize something. No words. So sabhi ko hamara pranam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Shukriya. Okay, sir. Thank you.